Now, it has been crazy because I tried to hook up my new computer before this broadcast, which was just a monumentally bad idea because it's a PC. It wanted to download like 8,000 updates. I'm like, oh shit. So I had while it's still downloading updates, I just hooked up my old computer and said, screw it, because the picture is crappy on StreamYard on my old computer. So I apologize, everybody. I got to get the chat going up. Comics Division at Friday Night Tights is back. Comics Division is back. We're going to talk about, Avengers Endgame. We're going to re-review it with fresh eyes. And then we're going to discuss, I guess, Star Wars rumors because, I kind of said my piece on them, Comics Division. Okay. I know you're a busy guy, but
I watched your videos. I thought they were pretty interesting.
Thanks. Yeah, and listen, I don't report anything as fact. It's their rumors. They're rumors, but again, it's from an insider whom I trust, or I wouldn't have ran with them because I hear stuff all the time. I do. But let me get to the chat open here too. Greetings, everybody. But it seems like some other YouTubers decided to make videos with I guess taking a shot at Doomcock and myself, and I generally don't respond to that stuff because they are free to make those videos and poke holes in our arguments and stuff. That's great. I mean, more power to you. Go ahead and do it. And generally, I don't know. I don't want to get caught up in the YouTube. I know people love it when YouTubers are going at each other, but I've never heard of these people. So I mean, I'm not trying to big time. One of them's a much bigger channel than I am. So it's not that. I mean, YouTube's a big place. So the only thing is it's odd that two people who have made videos concerning me have, like, one was Mr. TARDIS reviews and the other one's Mr. H reviews or something. So it's very similar. It's very weird. And I could be mean and say, well, they should probably title their retitle their accounts as Mrs. TARDIS reviews or Miss TARDIS reviews or Miss H reviews. It's certainly that's a suggestion that they could do. But you don't have to follow through on that stuff. It's okay. So tell me, how has it been? We took this little hiatus because I've been traveling and doing all kinds of crap. What have you been up to, man?
Oh, dude, lots of stuff, man. Been pretty busy with work for starters. Made a couple of videos during that time period, but honestly, not a whole lot.
Wow. Hey, that's a 2 videos, and that's kind of a lot for you.
Smart ass. No, I've been trying to get back to like doing something weekly, but shit, dude. Like last week, 2 weeks ago, I was out of town. I got back and I decided that I was going to start, getting up early, working out again. Which I did start doing. And part of that is starts eating into the amount of time you have, because if you get up early, you got to go to bed early too. If not, you're dragging ass all day. And so, yeah, I kind of like, didn't do shit.
Bad. That's sometimes that's good. I can't wait to get to that point, to be honest with you, because I've been so crazy. And that's why, I can't schedule because I love to have scheduled live streams, and that'll be happening again the next couple weeks once I get this office done. But enough of that bullshit. So I just, while I was moving the office around today, I watched Endgame again, and I watched the ending of it in Vegas for a bit, and I'll tell you right now, like it doesn't hold up well for me at all. Like, I don't like the movie. I didn't buy it. I decided to rent it on Amazon. I'm like, I don't want to buy this movie. I just don't. And I know why, now that I've watched it all the way through again with fresh, non-nostalgic eyes and some distance, from it. And dude, there's 2 things going on in this film that bother me a lot. The first is within the narrative, the 5-year jump is just something narratively you cannot get around for the rest of the MCU unless you change the universe completely, right?
That is something I've talked to several of my friends about. My biggest issue with what was happened is the 5-year gap, because it really kind of they painted themselves into a corner. And like the Spider-Man movie is a perfectly good example of the issues from this movie. First off, being a nerd, I think about these things. There's the economic issues behind it because suddenly all these people have returned. There's going to be not enough food, not enough housing, not enough cash to go around because the world has adjusted to that point. But also during that time period, there is probably going to be the collapse of all life because suddenly you have half the things around that's producing air, half the food, half the cattle, half the population to keep things running. Half the knowledge suddenly just disappeared. God damn it, dog! You're all tied up.
So he's got to take care of his dog. So oh look, Mrs. Nerdrotic is in the chat. Hail, Mrs. Nerdrotic.
Hey, Mrs. Nerdrotic.
What's up? So yeah, continue the 5-year jump because you were making some great points there.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of the issues with that. Obviously, it wasn't well thought out, and the fact that they just brushed it off, I find really irritating because this is something that you could build an entire series off of. The disappearance of half of all life, and then maybe the return of all life, whatever. The thing is, that is something so pivotal, something that would shape the future of the MCU, but yet it's brushed off like it's a joke. And that's kind of the problem with it, is the fact that it's not treated serious at all. And clearly Disney had no intentions of really kind of dealing with it going forward. It's just made as a joke, ignored, and life goes on. And that's a really shitty way of handling things.
Totally. And here's what I think. This is just speculation. What I think they could be using it for, and this is bad, is prequels. They could make prequels till the end of time about the 5-year gap now and retcon the crap out of stuff. And I'm prequeled out anyway, and it turns out like a lot of the D plus, I call Disney Plus D plus.
No, I do too. It's fucking hilarious, man.
It's the shows are going to be prequels. It looks like we're going to talk about the Obi-Wan show. That's a prequel. We're also you couldn't society would have collapsed, like you said, and we're nerds, we think about this stuff, and it's funny within the narrative of this, they make fun of nerds, by the way. They absolutely do. It's you're putting too much thought into it, and it's pretty funny. One of the things I thought was really funny, and it's something I at some point will probably do a video addressing, is the Mary Sue had the funniest article about male fans not liking the female Thor. And it's like, oh, so you want to see a glistening dude all muscular and trying to make it like, very, very gay. It's like, that's very anti-progressive of you, Mary Sue. Yeah.
I thought that shit was hilarious.
It is. And it shows what they're really about. They're just really about, trolling and that's why I just, I've watched, Know Thy Enemy. I've watched some of their podcast. Have you ever seen it? It's on YouTube.
No. What are they?
Oh my God. It's something like, well, actually, like, how somebody from the Mary Sue would talk. Well, actually, somebody who starts their sentences like that. And I'm kind of dumbfounded on why they like comics at all, because everything they don't like is what it's been built on.
Yeah, well, you see what the director of Black Widow is going to be doing with it, and I'm so fucking done with the MCU. I have no desire to see anything moving forward because I'm like, fuck it at this point. I think the last movie I'll see from Disney is probably going to be the next Star Wars movie, so I can just make fun of it, and that's really about it. I don't want to see Black Widow. Maybe I'll watch it when it comes out on some streaming service and watch it.
That's where I'm sorry, that's where it kind of belongs. I thought it would be on D plus. I mean, I think it's an obligation movie. I think they had no intention of making it at all. Because if you're not attaching it to some big tent pole thing like Thanos or something like that, it's just not gonna. It's all like Ant-Man money.
Yeah. And the other thing too is you also have the Jane Foster Thor coming up, and I have no desire to see that. I mean, it's going to be. And now we're getting the rumors of Chris Evans coming back, and it makes me wonder if they're going to start adapting Secret Empire, which is just fucking atrocious.
You know that's what they're going to do, and he'd be happy to come back for
Oh
that.
yeah,
By
yeah,
the way,
because they'll make the shining beacon of hope in America a fucking Nazi, just like they did in the comics, and you know
every
this
time I hear
time it
something
will
like
stick.
that, yeah. Oh no, every time I hear something like that, I'm like, do it, please do it, go
Mhm.
ahead, please, because that will just hasten everything. Like, oh yeah, I'll do Secret Empire because it'll have a different result than it did in the comics. Like the
Mhm.
movie crowds will fully accept a Hail Hydra cap. Sure, yeah,
Mhm.
okay, yeah. I think so. Not so much. So we got the 5-year gap that's just ridiculous. That is just there's so much damage they can do, further damage to the MCU they can do beyond that. But within the narrative, I'm watching this depressing movie that wastes a bunch of time. What sticks out to me is, of all the people you could bring back over the 10 years of the MCU, Rene Russo. You decide to bring in Rene Russo, who was okay as Thor's mom, but not, I don't know. You could have brought back Odin. You could have brought back a million other people. You didn't even bring back Jane Foster, which tells you, wow, that this female Thor was so thought out that they didn't even put her in Endgame.
Well,
So
yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't back up the dump truck full of money onto Natalie Portman's lawn and start putting it all over her the front of her house. I mean, that's the reason why she came back.
yeah, and like honestly, what else she got going on? But
Nothing.
nothing. So they bring back Rene Russo and they give her all this screen time so she could give advice to Thor. Thor is destroyed in this film, just utterly destroyed. I think it is, especially when you see it in relation to Ragnarok. If Ragnarok was again by itself, whatever. And I get the trauma.
I didn't like it, man.
I know you didn't. Yeah, I know, and a lot of people didn't. I was like okay with it as a disposable film, but now when you see it in context with Endgame, I like it a lot less. And I get the trauma of Asgard and everybody. Half of the people missing after so many people died. I get it, but he didn't. He didn't get a resolution from this. We didn't get the Avengers fight, the original Avengers fighting together. We didn't get like the Hulk fighting at all. Like we saw him running into the battle and maybe somewhere in the melee he's punching something, but I couldn't see it. And I just rewatched it on 4K screen on Amazon. I got the UHD, and the end battle looks terrible. It looks terrible. So
I'll be honest with you. Most things on 4K look terrible.
And yeah, it's yes.
Even regular TV shows look terrible on 4K.
I got a screen grab that I'll show you in a minute. That's
Okay.
that's supposed to be UHD. It's not, and that's the thing. It's like it's not really UHD. But the reason is so Thanos bombs the Avengers compound at the end, and all the smoke is coming up. So it's supposed to darken everything. So we're in this constant like sunset mode, to cover up all the green screen that they're using. And there's something I didn't like it then. I really don't like it now. So let me see if I can get that screenshot up of this. Is like I was trying to get a good close up of Captain Mahville for the thumbnail, and I couldn't. So I'm like, screw it, I don't care. But
dude, this is funny. I'm trying to remember who I was talking to. I had one of my animals at the vet today, and I was talking to one of the vet techs, and he was telling me about we're talking about movies and the whole thing with special effects, and the reason why like big budget films their CG looks like shit is because what the guy said is that yes, we have to do this and then fix all the other crap in post that it normally, like in films, like if a boom was in the shot, they would just go and reshoot it. But now the special effects guys have to go and edit out all the fucking mistakes along with the other CG stuff. So it makes sense why a lot of these big budget movies look like shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is why. And plus, the time limit, and back in the old days, they used to take their time with films and give themselves a lot of time. But look at this shot. Like, I mean, it's and it is what it is anyway. But
Meh.
like, this is like bad J.J. Abrams. Everything's blurred out. You can clearly see that I don't know if she's even wearing a mocap suit or a partial costume. And look at the back of her head. It looks
Honestly,
like they used the Gaussian lasso and just
yeah.
on Photoshop and just popped
Well,
it on.
not only that, just like her expression is just like,
I want to see the
I'm
manager.
so bored fighting Thanos.
He's so easy to beat. Uh, so the other things the biggest thing that bothered me, forget there's the 5-year jump. There's also individually, other than Iron Man was and it feels like it was obligatory that they had to give him, the best when they should have, because we are here because of Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, and he did great. There was great things within this. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man was great, actually better than he was in his last movie, which wasn't very, wasn't very good. And Robert Downey Jr. was great. Chris Evans was great. He was, until the end, when they just completely undid everything. Like Captain America, we've talked about the ending, and I talked about it at the time. Actually, what we reviewed at the time, Cap would never do that. Cap would not do that. That is so uncap. But it's really egregious with Thor, with what we see with Thor as the film goes on.
Well, that's the thing. They just made him a butt of a joke. He really has no story arc, and that's kind of the problem. Like with this entire series, is that I kind of feel like that. He just kind of exists in this world when there really should have been more, to the character. And I understand that. What's his name? When he did Ragnarok, he made it really funny. I do think it was probably one of his better performances, but that movie was just a fucking joke. I mean, there's times where you got to have the tension. It's like the stuff with Heimdall was really good because you kind of got the idea of how dire things are, and there's no jokes to bring levity to the situation. That's all he does, and that's kind of the issue. Is you got to have those moments of seriousness to let shit sink in and go, holy crap, all is not right. But it's just turns into a big fucking joke. And that's exactly what happens with this character when they made him fat, body positivity Thor. He just became a butt of every fucking joke.
Yep. No, and you're absolutely right. And that's the biggest problem with that film. And, there is, like a seriousness, and there's consequences in Endgame, but it feels hollow when we're taking on like past Thanos. And especially since they focused so much on Thanos, and it was his film in Infinity War, and then for him to just be dispatched, and we're basically fighting a different version. The confusing timelines. It's super cheap. It's really cheap. But the worst thing was what was done to each of our major characters. So in this the 5-year jump, I'm still trying to get my head around why they chose this angle. I think maybe it was just a cheap way to go back and go through the 10 years and then bring everybody back at once at the end. And it just it's such they could have done a million different things on this, like follow the comic as much as possible. Maybe.
Well, that was the thing I was going to get to, is that because it was deviated so much from the comic, how could they actually go and adapt it? Because there's some key characters that are missing. Adam Warlock being one of them.
Yes, and they could have replaced those characters. That's what people have done in the past.
I know, but a lot of people were very concerned that Adam Warlock was going to be replaced with Captain Marvel. And
yes, and that's
everybody fans would have been pissed, man. If they did that, even that in that one scene, the one that you capture where she's fighting Thanos, I was just like, oh shit, here it comes, and it didn't happen. You're like,
yep,
whoo, dodged the bullet.
Yes, we did. The thing is, it hit all the emotional beats just right. Like it made you feel sad and feel happy. We got the Avengers assemble, but nothing made any kind of logical sense. I'd be very curious to see if Mahler takes on this film, because it kind of is worthy of that kind of a style of just dissecting would be the better term
And,
for it.
and Rome Hader also brings up another thing with Lady Death not being involved, and that was hinted at in the first Avengers a little bit, and I guess that's where I guess things started to deviate from, because that's where Disney comes in and I guess gets a hold of the MCU, and suddenly all that stuff, there's just like little bits of things that were happening suddenly have gone away, and Death being one of them.
Have we gotten so bad with the current Time's Up Me Too era that we can't even show Lady Death in a bad light? Maybe that's why they didn't want to do it, because they would have to show her in a positive light somehow.
I don't know.
It's got to be asked, because things have gotten that crazy. And I think that's partially why they changed Nebula's storyline too. Although Karen Gillan did a great job as Nebula. She was
absolutely
still the best thing in it, and I love the one thing they went. It had moments of like greatness, but they were in the small scenes. Like I've said before, the Tony Stark Nebula being trapped on the ship, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the part of the issue is that you have like these really great moments in these scenes throughout this movie, but that does not make a cohesive narrative. That does not make a good movie, and that's the thing that kind of sucks about it. Even like, as much as I complain about Ragnarok, there are scenes in it I really enjoy. The fight between Thor and Hulk is awesome. There's some generally funny scenes there, like when Thor is getting his hair cut. That shit was hilarious. But overall, it's like, I didn't like the villain. I couldn't stand Valkyrie. It's just like she felt like such a tacked on character. And now they're making her into more of a big thing with the She-Thor movie, and she's the king of Asgard looking for her queen. It's just like, Jesus.
Tessa Thompson, the only thing I've seen her, I haven't seen her in a bunch of stuff, okay, but was Westworld season 1. She worked as kind of the representative of Delos, who was evil. And then went off the rails in season 2. But it's there's and we're going to go to the people a little bit, and we'll keep talking about this. But the main thing was undercutting some of the main characters for whatever reason. And listen, you didn't. I am of the school you didn't need to kill anybody. I don't know why you had to kill the original trilogy characters in Star Wars. I don't know why you had to kill any character. There's this finality. Like, you can recast people in the future. It's a big universe. People can retire and never be seen again. It's like, I give up superhero and I'm done. I'm really done.
Videos, it makes a lot of sense why would they would go and kill off the original trilogy characters, because if true, if royalties are going back to George Lucas, it would make sense why they would not go that route, because there's this vacuum where all this money is getting sucked out of their pockets and going straight into George's.
And when you look at the toy money, I mean, I was when I was first making the video, I mean, I was kind of aware of how much money they were making from the toys, but it didn't just click with me until I did my second video. And I'm like, ooh,
why George did what he did when he made Star Wars. His whole thing was, he didn't care about the money from the movie. He cared about the merchandise.
Well, he invented that shit, but I was aware of it. It just doesn't sink in until I worked out on a can't remember the amount now. What 20% of 12 billion is? It's like, oh,
fucking ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot.
I'll take that.
Well, it's like 4 billion, or 3 billion, but I'm not good at the maths. So let's get to some of the people here. And yes, so it's Birthday Palooza here in the Nerdrotic household. We celebrate a Birthday Palooza. We don't just do the one day thing. We kind of do a bunch of little stuff over the course of a month, whatever month the birthday is, like Mrs. Nerdrotic, who is going to be, I think, 23 again this coming March. She'll have March is her month. It's also, it's no mistake that it's International Women's Day is in that month. Well, it's International Melissa's Day, so that's the way I look at it. But Jill Timborough for $2. Happy birthday! May you have many more. Thank you very much. I've been trying not to think about. I've been distracting myself a lot from being 50. because it's all downhill from here. I mean, like there's more life behind me than ahead of me,
Yeah.
and that is she's you know what, just stay, you know, as my sponsor says, just stay in the here and now. You'll be fine. But thank you, Jolton Burrow, for the $2 and the coffee. Peter Davison from Australia, Comics Division. Peter Davison's from Australia. He's got a lovely mother who is who is 85 years young, 85 or 86, but she's brilliant. So say hello to her. Matrix 212 has an interesting theory on Star Wars. I'll check it out. I've been hearing all kinds of crazy theories and rumors, and you know, and thank you, Peter Davison. Listen, you know, I'm not. I don't want to. I never want to say never. Comics Division. Like I've never felt the need to make a video about another YouTuber. I mean, like I would take the counterpoint on an argument, and I would love to debate them on a live stream. I think that would be interesting. But I've never wanted to make another video about a specific YouTuber, but I mean, I can't say it's not going to happen. You know, if it's, you know, somebody, I'm just picking a name here, like Zoe Quinn made a video or something like that. Yeah, you know, maybe.
Oh, you know, we made videos
you never know.
about specific people. They're not YouTubers, but they're definitely people in the entertainment industry. It's like I don't think I've made a video specifically about Zoe Quinn, but I've definitely made videos about Dan Slott and Mark Waid.
Oh yeah, and well, they're not you know, I'm like talking about content. Basically, we're in the same boat here as content creators. We're all
technically
critics.
Slot has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a writer, he's a creative, so I think he's a public figure, and you can do that. As far as other content creators, though, no, why would I want to make a video about somebody's criticism of a movie that I don't agree with? I wouldn't do it. It's not something I think anybody here is interested in seeing. But yeah, well, okay. I will check out the theory though, Peter. Thanks. And Peter Davison says, sorry, Matrix Lord 212. Oh, you didn't have to give another super chat for that, Peter, but thanks. For Australian $2 here. Are we still looking at Captain Marvel? We want to stop doing that now. Sorry.
We're scarring the audience, Gary.
My God, I apologize, people. I'm so sorry. Let's get back here. Let's get the chat back up there though. I kind of like that. We can share the chat. Well, you know, I was thinking there's going to be a Die Hard reboot.
Oh my God,
Disney. Let's cast Brie Larson and call it Brie Hard.
Oh, dude, that's the first thing I heard is because Dr. Venkman, he was really excited, and I'm like, dude, are you serious? Because you know, it's going to be a female lead this time.
Who was excited about a I'm sorry, Dr. Venkman. Is somebody actually excited about a Die Hard remake without Bruce Willis?
I am not.
I mean, I'm seriously curious about that. Like, are people really interested in seeing somebody else in a Die Hard like? I mean, Die Hard's like it's not even a franchise. It had a decent sequel, and it's gotten way too many, but it's a Bruce Willis action vehicle. That's
it really is. It is. That's all there is to it. We don't need another sequel. Yeah. I mean, poor Bruce. He's a little old now. Probably a little too old to be running around, you know, acting like a badass. I don't know. What is he? He's 70s?
Yeah. He's freaking old. We were watching him in Moonlighting in the 80s.
Oh God, Moonlighting was great.
It was till they got back together. It's why shipping ruins everything. And this is before people even knew what shipping was.
Yeah, true.
Justin Gould asks for $4.99. What's up, Justin? How's it going? Thank you. Have you heard about the Obi-Wan show movie rumor? If it happens, I hope Disney doesn't ruin him too. And I think that's the general sentiment from pretty much everybody. It's like that Disney's doing it. Oh God, don't screw this up too. I think
you know they're going to. That's the problem. It's
so when you heard about this, what was your first reaction? What's your expectation from a Disney Obi-Wan prequel? Prediction, we'll say.
My prediction, because you know, Gary, entertainment is female, and you're going to have another character who will be introduced, who is probably going to be more the forefront of the series, which will be female, and she'll basically show him up in the Force, show him what a terrible Jedi he is. I mean, granted, I'm more making fun than anything else. I don't know for sure if that's what they were doing, but it seems like the pattern of the way things are going these days, like what we've seen with the Picard series, and we know that Disney has been turning down shows because they want to make more female centric things. Yeah, which to a degree is fine, right? But the main thing is they need to remember that there's also a male audience, and you don't want to shut them out. You don't want to shut out anybody, male or female. But it seems like they're doing a lot of very female focused or centric things now. That's the reason why this is the reason why the MCU is going this direction. It's the reason why Star Wars has gone this direction. It's the reason why the TV stations that they own is it ABC, CBS? Yeah. It's ABC. There's this show called Emergence that's coming out. And I see, whenever I see that, like the commercials for it, I'm thinking, because it has Clancy Brown in it. I'm pretty sure that he's going to be the bad guy because he's a straight white male. And, you know, they have the lead from a show called Downward Dog, which was a terrible, very kind of SJW show where she plays a police officer. And then there's like this young girl who has, like, I guess, some immense power. And I think that's just the formula they're going to be using from now on. And I have a feeling that's going to seep probably into the Obi-Wan series, if that is actually going to be real.
A young girl with immense power. Isn't that Picard? I thought that was Picard.
Well, like I said, it's the formula. It's the formula everyone's using these days.
Yeah, it absolutely. So this was a huge banner at Comic-Con. It was on the side of a building, and that up to the right there. And I remember I think it was Jeremy. We were looking at that. We're like, what is that? What do you get out of this image here? Suspicion with a little girl in a lighthouse. Yeah, that doesn't look like it. Yeah, it just looks like small town drama in Connecticut, maybe, or somewhere in Maine. I don't know what's going on here. And there's nothing that excites me about this. But the thing is, like, every poster at Comic-Con for the new TV show kind of looked like this. Like it just had a woman looking very stoic with a single word title. And it was when you see them all next to each other. I have a picture somewhere. I got to find it. It was pretty funny. I'm like, where are the superhero shows? Like, what's going on here? There's one title we couldn't even read. They spelled it so weird that you couldn't read it. Nobody could figure it out. They're like, what's that show? I don't know what the hell it even says. But yeah, that's
it doesn't matter. It'll be canceled, not even halfway through the season.
Yes. Speaking of canceled, I think Krypton got canceled. And it deserved it.
You mean it didn't already?
It deserved it. Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised it went to season 2, to be honest with you. It was so bad. It's by David S. Goyer, who's gotten a lot of mileage from working with Nolan, and anybody who works with Nolan is going to look good no matter what. However you feel about Nolan, the guy's very talented, a very solid, talented director, and kind of a rare breed now. And yeah, I don't like David S. Goyer at all. So Tyrone Beer for Australian $2. I'll watch the vid later. Doomcock stole your slot. No, listen, YouTube is a big place. And I've been doing Friday Night Tights for almost 2 years now. So yeah, we took a little hiatus, but yeah, go ahead and watch later. But you're gonna have to watch it somewhere else because it won't be here. It'll be on Nerdrotic Live and nerdrotic.com. I rarely keep the only live streams I keep up are the Inquisition and the Nooners.
Oh, that's weird. I thought you kept the Friday Night Tights up.
Not anymore. No, I haven't been keeping it up. I put it over on Nerdrotic Live and stuff, just in case they go long and stuff. It's a bit right now for if it's a big show, I'll keep it up. If it's something like we're reviewing a movie or something, but right now the algorithms being so good right now, I don't want to mess it up. And it unfortunately, and talk to YouTube about that, live streams mess up the algorithm. I don't know why.
Yeah, I started doing the same thing too, where I just started privating them because of algorithm.
Yeah, it is a fact that it does. I don't, and it's because I don't want to bore people with this, but if you have a 2 to 3 hour live stream, if you're just jumping on for like a half an hour, it's not YouTube sees that as you're not interested in it, even though a half an hour on a live stream is a pretty good chunk of time to be listening, to be honest with you, especially when it's not live, somebody's listening to it later. So they take that as poor engagement, and they start recommending you less. And this is after I went to VidCon and went to an entire panel where they're like, please live stream more. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's so stupid, and I understand why they do certain things, because it's all about engagement, right?
Yep.
It's not just about the number of views you get, but it's the actual engagement, because you could game the whole thing with views. And technically, I guess you could game engagement as well, but it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it certainly is. But yeah, you can, well, at least you can watch me and then go back to watch the Doomcock, because we don't go as long. Mike Brown, but you can always catch me on Sunday or Monday.
Damn, you're right,
Wednesday.
man. Doomcock can fucking stream a long ass time.
Yeah, he can.
By himself too, man. That's a feat. I mean, you're lucky if you get 15 minutes out of me for a solo stream.
Yeah, it's tough. I've done them for 4 hours, but I'm wiped afterwards. I generally like to keep it 2 to 3 at the most.
No, I think the other thing too, since you actually have your camera on, it's a lot easier to, like if you're looking something up, at least people have something to watch while you're being silent.
Yes. Which I'm generally not. That's the problem. Well, at least I found an outlet for it, though. Mike Brown, looks like they're satting out booms. Looks like they're satting out booms. What, Mike Brown? What are you saying there, pal? I don't know what satting out booms is. But you don't have to give another super chat. Just respond in the chat. Sorry, maybe I'm missing something there for $2.
Out booms?
Maybe it's SATING.
Maybe they're sending out brooms.
Maybe
cleaning house.
Yes, that's good. Vashta Narada for Canadian $5. Disney are killing the golden goose. Yes, I think they've killed. I think it's past tense. Mm-hmm. It's done.
They've murdered it.
It's done. There's no.
It's
coming
only
back.
a matter of time at this point.
The only way Star Wars will possibly and the MCU, we'll talk about both of them. The MCU is still in the process of failing. I don't think it's cooked yet. I maybe you're talking about the MCU, but Star Wars is cooked. Goose
Star Wars
is cooked and consumed.
Dude, I am looking forward to seeing the numbers with the next movie. I'm sure it will be higher than Solo, but I don't think it's going to be nowhere near as high as The Last Jedi. People, apathy is at such a all-time high right now. It's fucking hilarious and sad at the same time.
Only Disney can get apathy at an all-time high. Not caring is at an all-time high. I am so not caring right now. But that's true. It's true. And the funniest thing is I want you all to enjoy the shilling that will start to happen in, what do you think? Late October, early November, maybe as early as September. You will start seeing prominent blue check marks on Twitter start going, I've seen a screener, or I've seen this scene and I cried, and OMG, it better than Empire.
Oh my God. It was the best Star Wars ever. Ooh.
We need to find a response meme for better than Empire. Like every time we see better than Empire, because haven't we heard that every time a Star Wars Disney movie comes out? It's almost like they give them talking points. Now,
they probably
do. Star Trek Discovery, when they premiered, did something very similar to the Star Wars Force Awakens premieres. They did a premiere for prominent social media people, blue check marks, prominent groups on Facebook. So they would see it and then say, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever, you know.
Dude, and that's okay. Speaking of the shilling, okay, I am a huge fan of Kevin Smith. I love, and Mike V kind of already beat me to it in the chat. But dude, I admire him as a filmmaker. You know, he is probably one of my top 10 favorite filmmakers of all time. But holy fucking shit, dude. Stop with the shilling for fucking Star Wars. I mean, he even defended the prequels and a lot of stuff. And, you know, it's like, dude, stop, man. Seriously, stop. I've lost some respect for him because of this shit.
Absolutely. I mean, Kevin Smith was the John Hughes of the 90s as far as like making films that define the generation, like Clerks, I think.
Yeah. I
Define
mean,
the generation.
I saw him when Red State came out. He was doing a tour, and I had the opportunity to see him live and talk about the movie and some other stuff. But fucking A, dude. It's like, shut up. Stop shilling for this crappy Disney movie.
Well, and the disappointing thing is that's not what he built his fan base on. He was
No.
the reason we liked him is because he told it like it was. Like he did not do that stuff, and now he did. I mean, this is the guy who created Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, which is my favorite film by him. I love Babies.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
And it doesn't take away my enjoyment of the films.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, but he's been. You're right. It's just been awful. It's disappointing. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Dio Brando for $2 says, it's my birthday and I found out I'm soon to be an uncle. Well, hey, congratulations. Welcome to unclehood.
Congrats.
Where that unclehood is awesome because you get none of the responsibility, but then you can spoil. You're going to get asked to babysit once in a while if you live close, but you can always move really far away. And yeah, it works out great. And it's you get to sleep. You still get to sleep. So congratulations and happy birthday. My birthday is Sunday. My birthday is on Sunday. So
I will have to send you a happy birthday text.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm good.
Which you'll promptly ignore.
Which I will promptly ignore. Promptly.
Like all my other texts.
Yes, and my wife's text too. Don't feel alone.
Dude, I just fuck with you.
Yeah. Oh God. I know. Yeah, Jeremy was giving me shit about that too. I deserve it though. I do. TK for $10. Only saw Endgame once in theaters. Saw most other MCU films at least twice, except for Captain Marvel, which I didn't see. Smart.
Yeah. Smart move.
Also skipped Far From Home. Like comics, I'm done with it. The 5-year gap was a joke. Thank you for the $10, TK. And it was. It was all to keep the emotional drama. It was all to give Tony a daughter, which you could have. God, you could have done that. You could have done a time jump. It just didn't need to be done. You could have just given Tony a daughter. I don't know why they didn't do that earlier. Why not? And the fact that, I mean, like nobody's talking about the fact that him and Pepper had a little daughter, and she's like 50, right? I mean, isn't she like 50?
Well,
Gwyneth Paltrow is like my age.
Stark Tech, dude.
So
they do it with baboon wombs.
They right? Stark Tech. That's funny as hell. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. How old is Gwyneth Paltrow? I mean, it's not nice to know her age, but okay, she's 46. I guess it's possible, but yeah, she's no spring chicken. Alita Rising, thank you, TK, by the way. Alita Rising for Australian $10. Gary, I get that you don't like Avatar. The movie. I was gonna I like The Last Airbender. I mean, that's my Avatar. But the re-release of Endgame was disgusting, incomplete, pointless, extra scenes, a cheap trick to get the top spot. Yep. I agree. No, I won't disagree with that at all. It was disgusting to put an unfinished effects scene out, and I don't count it.
Is that what they did? It was an unfinished effects scene.
It was an unfinished effects scene, and let's be clear: the highest grossing film of all time is Gone with the Wind. It's always going to be Gone with the Wind, and it always has been Gone with the Wind. You have to adjust for inflation. Not adjusting for inflation is ridiculous.
It is.
It's utterly ridiculous. And you consider when Gone with the Wind came out, listen, there wasn't a lot going on in the world. I can't, was it the Depression was ending or it was during the Depression? But people were depressed, okay? And they got to see this film, and it made gobs of money. Gobs and gobs and gobs of money. And it will never be beat. No, I think, yeah, that was completely cheap. And they pulled the same tricks that Avatar pulled. And the thing is, it cheapens it because neither of those films are worthy of being the highest grossing film of all
They're
time.
really not. They're really not.
Love or hate Titanic, I felt it was worthy of it. Enough people loved that film, and it was in theaters for a good long time. And it was kind of a throwback to the like a disaster, but Hollywood classic. So I get that movie. I get. I it's not like I'm going to rewatch it again, but and I mostly love James Cameron. Like Avatar's the only thing I don't like by him. I love everything else he's done. But yeah, it was totally cheap. I agree. Cheap move. And it also shows you, Kevin Feige like comes off as this really nice, like he's got his baseball cap. He's just a good old guy,
He's relatable. He's like one of us.
Yeah, he's a freaking producer. He is a shark. He has no soul. Like he wouldn't have risen that high. He's very good at his job. He's very competitive. And according to Grace Randolph, he's one of the most passive aggressive people in Hollywood, which I can totally believe.
I can totally see that.
Which is, yeah, I haven't watched one of her videos in a long time, but nothing bad to say about Grace other than I don't like her takes on some stuff, but who likes everything? The DJ D show. What's up, my man? How's it going? The moderator and a YouTuber himself. Go check out the DJ D show. He's a good dude. Thank you for the 250. Happy birthday. Happy 50th. Y'all, Gary, y'all meme. Yes. And I'm kind of a living meme sometimes. Let's be real. I get it. I understand why when somebody makes a video, poking holes in my argument, I just go, yeah, okay, sure.
So Gary, have you owned a comic book shop for 10 years?
I don't know if you guys have heard. You might be new to the channel, but I owned a comic shop for 10 years here in San Francisco. And listen, I know this might be news to a lot of people, but yeah, it was successful. I won Best of the Bay in 2009. I did.
Well, that's the funny thing. Sometimes you got to repeat stuff like that as you get new viewers coming in. So, I mean, as much as your people kind of see it as being cliche, you got to remind the new people, or you got to let them know.
The one thing I learned from YouTubing, and I know you know this, I'm saying it out to the crowd, is, and I think I mentioned this early on in one of your live streams. It dumbfounded me, but it's restating the obvious.
Yes.
There's some things it's like, isn't this just obvious? But sometimes you have to say
I feel compelled to do the exact same thing myself. It's like with my latest videos, I was talking about the whole thing with female characters being Mary Sue's. The other thing is I don't want male characters to be Mary Sue's either. And it's like just stating the obvious because it's 2019. I feel like I kind of have to, because there's someone out there who's gonna be like fucking sniping me because I didn't say it.
Yeah. Well, and just what you said earlier, it's, right now we're making fun of the trend in Hollywood and we're clowning it hard because it deserves, you got to mock things. That's how, if you want things to really change, mockery, memeing, this is what you have to do. Again, we have to state that out loud, but something you and I know. But when we're making fun of the constant female lead thing, it's not like we want a bunch of white muscly dudes in everything we see. Okay, that's not the case. We're just making fun of this idiotic, superficial trend, and Hollywood doing it. And then on top of that, it would be bad enough if it was just a trend, but they think they're actually making the world a better place. That by casting Brie Larson and making her the head of the MCU, we are feeding children in Africa. I mean, like she treats it like that. She's all, I'm going to change so many little girls' lives. It's like,
no, you're not. You've broken no ground. That's the thing I think is fucking hilarious.
No, I agree. The only thing she's broken is the MCU. There's no ground. No ground has been broken here.
Just the MCU.
Just the MCU. That's all. And listen, Captain Marvel is an annoying character in the comics from the Kelly Sue DeConnick era on. Miss Marvel was a very likable character that people kind of dug. It didn't really ever do well, but she was a really good Avenger when she was around. She spent most of her time like not around, and honestly, she was known by getting almost killed or killed by Rogue, depending on how you look at it. I remember reading Miss Marvel when I was a kid, and she was on the Fireside books. these were like the first trade paperbacks. They collected all the origins, and they had the origins of Marvel Comics and Son of Origins, and they had the the Women of Marvel, and she was on that cover. She was there, but nobody ever remembered it because she's as your boy Zach, he did the best description of her ever. She's the generic superhero that you put on side of a plumbing van. That's the perfect description of it. And I want to give him all the credit for that. But
absolutely, that's true.
Yes. Kenny Jones for $5. If I didn't know the screen grab was Endgame, I would wonder what sci-fi or sci-fi. And by the way, if I say sci-fi, it's Sci-Fi Channel.
Yes,
sci-fi channel movie or TV
Sci-fi
show it was. Yes. I agreed, Kenny. It looks awful. It looks absolutely. I've got other screenshots of her that are, that I haven't messed with in Photoshop or anything. Let's see if there's another one here. That's everybody's seen that one. Yeah, this one looks like she wants to see the manager too.
That's right, Cracklin. I think she was also in the X-Men cartoon.
Yes. Was she? Like the original one from the 80s?
80s, 90s. I think she was in a
remember that. Maybe.
I think he's right.
I mean, like, listen, I don't remember every episode. He could be right on that one. I know she was in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, right? So I'm gonna screen share. I mean, it's just
92 apparently. It's Marvel.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I don't own that on DVD, and I really should.
Is it actually out on DVD?
It used to be. It used to have to buy it in it wasn't out in seasons. I think you bought blocks of episodes or something like that. There's still some available on Amazon. I don't think there's a bunch of bootlegs out there. I used to buy the bootlegs all the time. I've got a Spider-Man the Animated Series bootleg that I got from the 90s, which is just burned from recordings, from VHS recordings on a TV. And I loved it back then. That was great. Yes, there's it's everything's dark. That one looks a little better though. But it makes no sense that they had her there and she's like, I'm in space and dealing with all this stuff. But they're trying to go back in time to undo it. So technically you're not going to be gone that long. It just the reasoning for having her gone and the reason and not bringing in Valkyrie. I mean, I know why they didn't bring in these characters, and I'm glad they didn't. But Valkyrie's a pretty powerful character. They could have really used her on Vormir. She could have probably held up better, or maybe sacrificed herself. That's just me.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion.
No real loss, right?
Yeah. I mean, get rid.
Well, it makes me kind of wonder. What do you think the extent of her character is going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder? And do you think that Jane Foster will end up being her love interest?
I think Lady Sif didn't she volunteer to be her love interest? And
yeah, the actress did.
I think they'll have another one. I think it'll be like she'll be a background story. She won't be the star, and she'll come in the battle, and they'll have some subplot with her getting her queen. But why don't they just call her, since they're calling her a king, why don't you just call the other one a king? Why does it have to be king and queen? That's so whatever. It's so whatever. It's so whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. But Tessa Thompson will be Tessa Thompson, like the same role she is in everything else. She'll be sassy, no nonsense, hard drinking,
hard hitting,
angry, smirky girl. That's what she'll be. Yeah. That we can expect. Logic Noodles for $20 Australian. G'day, Gary and Comics Division. If Endgame followed the comics more closely, it could have been so much better. Thanos' motive for the snap in the comics was to fulfill a promise to Lady Death. Mm-hmm. His love interest. Happy birthday to. Thank you very much. And yes, originally I was kind of down with he wants to purify the universe by getting rid of half of all life. But again, when you think about it, it's like, what?
Yeah, well,
half all the birds on Earth. What? He was talking about overpopulation, basically.
Yeah, he's talking about world population, but he ends up killing everything. But it's like, dude, I mean, you have the Infinity Gauntlet. Why not make abundance for everybody? That's the more logical, simpler solution than wiping out half of all life. I mean,
actually, if he was that brilliant, he would have broken down like the percentage of sentient beings that are consuming too much on their planets. I mean, he just didn't want to do the work. So Thanos was essentially lazy, because if he actually crunched the numbers, he probably only needed to get rid of, like, say, 12% of all sentient life in the known galaxy. Was it universe or galaxy?
It was universe. It was
universe. And how the hell did he get around the entire universe? How does he? I mean, like, I mean, it makes no sense, especially with, Thanos is not a god. But but they didn't want to do the Lady Death thing because that was going too far in the movie with the giant green guy who's jumping around, and it's weird how these weird creative decisions they made, because they didn't ever, even the MCU didn't go full superhero. And I know that sounds crazy to hear, but it's true. They didn't. They really dialed back the costumes quite a bit, especially towards the end when nobody wore masks anymore. And it's like, why did anybody even have a costume at the end?
Well, technically, you could say that for the most part. Crap. Fuck. I'm totally blanking. Purple guy with bow. Hawkeye. There we go. Yes. He never really truly had a costume.
Hawkeye never had a costume, yeah, and that's why he never really looked or felt like Hawkeye to me. It just looked like Jeremy Renner, G.I. Joe. Yeah, guy with bow.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner, G.I. Joe. That's a good way of putting it.
He looked like a G.I. Joe guy. And it's like, you couldn't throw a mask on him. And they did Ronin at the end, which was cool. And that was honestly the coolest thing. That his Ronin scene was the coolest thing he's done in the entire MCU.
Yeah. Yeah. Except for the shitty haircut.
Yeah. Nina Fabiano for $5. Some nerd debates would be fun. Yeah, I'll debate anybody on that stuff. I mean, bring it on. Especially debating me on a rumor. I mean, it's like, it's a rumor. So you want to debate
that's the fun part.
It's a good rumor, a bad rumor. I didn't even state. I just thought it made sense to me.
Well, that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't get, specifically with the shill media, is that speculating as a fan is fun.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, that's what we did all day. I mean, like, when you go to, especially, in the 90s, I'm sure I used to go with the same group of friends to the movies, like every Friday night. My friend Jay, my friend Doug, the people, Aaron, everybody I worked with at the warehouse, we'd go see a movie. And that's what we did. We theorized, we bullshitted, we recast movies, we'd cast superhero movies, because you had to wait for a movie, and then you get there like a half an hour and you just shoot the shit. That's what fans do. So to shoot that down means you fundamentally don't understand fandom, and you're just new here, or just here for a minute.
You don't like fun. I mean, that's just kind of
the exactly
thing, right? I
mean, no fun.
No fun allowed, folks. Entertainment's not allowed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be preachy. It's supposed to be preachy and make white people feel bad. Fuck, dude. The chick from Medium and crap, I'm totally fucking blanking on her name, and the show that she was on, she started like making all these tweets apologizing for being white. Let me see if I can find I'm building in the comics. They had a
Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette. Yeah, there we go. It's just like, what the fuck is wrong with these celebrities? I mean, Armie Hammer was like the same way. Basically, wanting to practically cut off his penis and apologize for it. It's just like, Jesus, dude.
That's what happens when you're in this, like, it's an elite bubble, and when they start, I mean, that's a pretty common thing you see with actors and actresses, not with the white guilt thing, but they start to kind of lose it when they get older, because they don't get as much attention. Their relevance is gone. Their career's over. And like, I mean, I'm sure they made plenty of money, but it's not really about money. With actors and actresses, their fame and their image matters way more to them than actual money. I'm sure they'd love to have it, but I don't know. I think they would take not looking bad over a big paycheck any day. So because the money will come later for them. Plus they get so much so much of their ass is kissed all the time. They get a bunch of free stuff. You know, when Patricia Arquette, imagine how many meals she's never had to pay for because she was in True Romance.
True Romance. Thank you. That was the movie I was trying to remember.
She was great in True Romance.
But, no, she was. That was a very good movie.
Was it Rosanna Arquette? It was one of the Arquettes. They're crazy. Okay. Yeah.
Patricia Arquette.
I'm thinking, you know, possibly drugs. I always just lean towards drugs when people act weird.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Not Rosie O'Donnell. Fuck, I can't remember. Hang on a second. I'll have to look this shit up.
Senility's kicking in.
Yeah, well, no, that the alcohol I've been drinking is kicking in.
Attaboy.
Yeah. Roseanne Barr's ex-husband.
Oh, Tom Arnold. Yeah.
Tom Arnold. Yeah, he is all fucked up. That is
to him.
I don't know, dude, but that has to be a case for fucking drugs right there.
I used to love Tom Arnold. I did when he was on the Best Damn Sports Show and everything. I used to love Tom Arnold, but now he's like completely gone. Like, what the hell?
Trump derangement syndrome, I guess.
It is. And like he used to be a Republican. That's what I don't get. Like he was a hardcore, like Bush loving Republican. I remember. But you know, Arnold doesn't like me either. So I guess it's neocon, maybe, whatever. Okay, so Jill Tamburo for $5. What's up, Jill? Again, in Endgame, what they did to Gamora was crud. Lots of good character development, flushed down the toilet, and for what? All of it did was to hurt Peter Quill. Thank you for bringing that up, but please give your reaction again. Sorry, I just wanted to finish the super chat there.
That's cool. Arnold is an admitted mental patient. Oh, that could do it too.
Yes. So Gamora, yeah, her character, great character development, great character arc done. They derailed her character to make Peter Quill look like more of an idiot. And I'll give you another example of trashing one of the best scenes in MCU history is the opening credits for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of, remember, Nebula is just gotten this family, right? She has just accepted, the Guardians as her family. She's been tortured all her life. She had one of the best character arcs. So she goes back in time and sees Peter alive for the first time. And what do? They clown him. Instead of that. I mean, that's an emotionally impacting scene that you left behind for a joke. And people go, oh, it's probably a good joke. He's an idiot. But that's all they did to him. The entire movie is make him an idiot.
Well, but he's competent too. That's the thing. He's like, you can be an idiot and be competent or do idiotic things.
Yeah, but no, they took a narrative and creative decision to make him look like more. I mean, they doubled down on it to where it wasn't funny anymore, especially when I watched it again. And it's clear what they did in this film. This film was a lot of things to the MCU, but most of all, it was setting the pace. It was acting like a comic book does. Comic books don't end. Okay. So the ending of something always sets the pace for something else.
Right.
That's why, especially with Marvel, their events always fall flat and people aren't generally happy with the end because they don't really end. They just set up the next event. And that's what Endgame did. It set up phase 4. And the first thing they had to do was that picture we're showing right now. This is from the non-white male council. So this is the non-white male council where everybody's in charge and there's no white males there.
Now that you mention it, it's like I completely overlooked that because Black Widow's the one in charge. Then you have Rhodey, Captain Marvel, and what's her name from Black Panther, and that's it.
And Rhodey's not in charge. He's answering to Black Widow. So and you undercut Thor's character. The only character that got there's 2 male characters like Ant-Man was treated well, but he's still more of a moron.
Well, he's already an idiot, so they don't have to make him more of an idiot.
And the thing is, the Scott Lang Ant-Man wasn't an idiot. I mean, certainly capable of it, but I don't know if you ever read The Irredeemable Ant-Man. That was a good. See, he was kind of an a-hole. See, that's the thing. I wish they would have leaned more into that. I love Paul Rudd. He's such a likable character. It's hard not to like him, but I really hated what they did in the last movie. So they undercut Thor. They undercut Cap at the end. Whether they did it by giving him this happy ending, but it's the most, it is ridiculous, but we've gone over it ad infinitum. And they also did it to Peter Quill and derailed what Joel said right there, derailed Gamora's character to they took away the relationship.
Yeah, they took away the relationship. That was like one of the big things that annoyed me. I mean, the thing I liked about Infinity War, the sacrifice, that was such an impactful scene with Gamora and Thanos throwing her off. And especially with those very biting words she had of, it's like, you don't care about anything. And he looks down at her and he's got the tear rolling down his cheek. And he's like, you're wrong. And that's why he throws her off. It's just like, it was so gut wrenching and so heart wrenching and fucking completely undone at this point. That's kind of the problem I have with Endgame is it really does undo everything that happened before. I mean, literally the past 10 some odd years of the MCU has just been undone by this movie.
Hang on just a second. Sorry. Sure.
I guess
I got interrupted, but then then she walked. I don't know what's going on. So sorry about that. Back to the show.
I wasn't sure if I was going to have to do a song and dance to keep people entertained.
Well, you could have. I mean, I won't stop you.
No, I won't stop you. No, but nobody wants that.
So John Gensel, is it Gwensel or Gensel? Sorry if I mispronounced that, John. For $5. Hail, Gary! Happy birthday from Austin, Texas. Hey,
Texas represent.
Texas, Austin. Yeah, and you're not in Austin.
Not in Austin, but not that far from Austin.
You're in not Austin. Selena Kyle, formerly Captain Mary Sue SJW from Pahrump, Nevada. $1.99. Hey Gary, where's that birthday shirt I got you? Well, it is packed up somewhere. But actually, you know what? I wore it 2 days ago. So it's probably in the wash right now. But thank you again, Seahawk Scott for $2. How about a brown check? A brown check.
Is it like
instead of a blue check? Instead of a blue check. Okay, I got you. I got you. It took me a minute there, Seahawk Scott. Thank you. Sometimes
it's like the brown note.
Yeah, exactly. A brown check. There you go. I like that. Well done, sir. Christy Miller for $2. Happy birthday, you filthy animal. Why, thank you, Christy, and thank you for being a wonderful wrench and mod and doing great work here. And thank you to all the mods, and thank you very much. It's so far it's been a happy birthday. You guys can, but it's mostly been working in this office trying to get it set up. It's not nearly done, but I got it presentable. But there's boxes all around me right now. So Eskimoto Phone for $4.99. Happy birthday. I missed Friday Night Tights. Captain Marvel and its Steelbook Blu-rays were on sale. Potts should have been pregnant during the Infinity War. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because that girl is 7, right? In real life, she was 7.
I thought she was filming.
Like 5. She was 5, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, she probably should have been pregnant. Well, maybe that's not Tony's kid. Yeah, there you go. Know. Maybe that's Happy's kid. But Tony wasn't gone that whole time. So Eli McGinnis for $4.99. Happy birthday. Thank you, Eli. I appreciate it. By the way, thank you for all the kind donations, everybody. That keeps the lights on around here, keeps us going, lots of content. I know I haven't put out a ton this week, but honestly, the videos have done like way better than I thought they were. And I think, and it's no different than what I've done before. I just think I noticed I went to Target. We have these little boutique Targets here in San Francisco because we don't have enough Targets. So we need one on every block now. and there's one in this mall right next to, I live kind of close to San Francisco State University, which is really bad place to live near. And the school was back. And I think that's got a lot to do with, I think people will, what happens is we just went through a slow period on YouTube. The ad rates are down. So the ad rates are going to start going up in September. Things are going to start ramping up again. And I think that might have something to do with it. But yeah, the videos did great. So thank you, everybody. I didn't expect the one I put out this morning to do as well as it did. So yay. And it was just, I just found something in an article that I thought kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. And I can't believe the Hollywood Reporter didn't run with that headline. Maybe they were afraid to, I don't know. But
I missed your video for today.
So,
what was it about?
So in the article, it said, are Dan and Dave a gamble for Netflix? I'm paraphrasing, which of course they are, considering they've done one TV series and it wasn't successful. It was successful, bottom line successful. They made lots of money, got a lot of people watching. But as far as being a TV series that people are going to watch for again and again till the end of time, not the case anymore. It just ended bad. It ended bad. So it like it'll still be in it'll still be in people will still watch it for the next few years, and then it'll just absolutely fade away. It'll fade away and just be known as something that, well, it had a great start and a horrible ending. So they got signed over to Netflix for $250 million. So this article talks about like, wow, it's kind of a gamble because the people who are getting that big money, they've done lots of shows. So they've kind of earned it. Even Greg Berlanti, who I don't like. I mean, he's got 18 scripted drama or shows on TV right now. Like, so he's worth his money for at least showing that he can produce TV shows. I don't like any of them, but he can produce TV shows. And they were just saying it was a risk. But within the article, they mentioned two things that I would have gone with as a headline. They mentioned, well, it looks like they're only writing one Star Wars movie and not a trilogy.
Oh, I thought they were supposed to be getting their own trilogy.
They're not. Yeah, I think I maybe that's my assumption is when they got their own trilogy, I thought they were writing and directing it. So it looks like they're just writing it and maybe just one now, maybe. And then at the very last bit, it goes, so they signed this big deal, but they went to HBO Warner Media first, and HBO Warner Media said, nah, no thanks. You can go get your two. And listen, Netflix did overpay, and I'm betting that Dan and Dave gave HBO and Warner Media a discount, because they've been there for 10 years. So it probably wasn't too, but they're in a situation. The best way to relate it is a sports ball reference is you're a free agent who just came off a career year, but before that, you're a little injury prone. So you finally had a healthy year and you put in your best year in your contract year, and then you go out as a free agent. There's a lot of teams that are just going to go, well, I mean, technically he's worth a lot of money because he broke a bunch of records last year, but he's got these health problems from the past. So I'm just going to not give him the money. And then some team desperate for, season ticket holders and, like they're waning right now. They need to do something to make a splash with the fans. They sign that free agent for a bunch of money. And then of course he blows his knee out halfway through the season. You never see him again. Happened to David Boston from the Chargers. Great example, but he was all steroids. David Boston was this giant receiver from the Cardinals that everybody was like, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. We got Boston. He sucked when he played and he didn't play very much. But he got a lot of money. That's what Dan and Dave are. Dan and Dave are, they magically did well for 4 years. And then I'm guessing on this, there was some falling out or something. George didn't work with them as much. I think it was a falling out over Winds of Winter not being done. I think George was doing a lot more work on that show than maybe we know, or they were just relying that much on the source material. And it was clear when they ran out of source material, it just became a different show. So they are not worth that money, but HBO turning them down, I thought was a big deal. I'm like, whoa, I just thought Netflix came in and swooped them away, it just blew them away with an offer. But no, HBO had a chance to keep them, and they're like, nah, we'll go with JJ instead, which is just as bad. But yeah, I just thought it was something interesting to make a video off of. Daniel Reisling for 20 Czechoslovakian pesos. Happy birthday. Regards to Mrs. Colombo. Mrs. Colombo, yes. Regards. Kevin Smith did live audience shows where he would make fun of John Peters because he wanted Superman to fight a polar bears and a giant spider.
And a giant spider.
Where is that guy? Asks Unhinged Crank for $5.
Seriously, man.
Yes,
that's the question. He kind of sold out, man. That he lost his edge. He also became a family man too during that process. During that
he
time
did,
period.
and John Peters, I'm trying to remember at the time when he was starting to do these, like he did the same speech forever. But John Peters was still a relevant producer and a powerful man in Hollywood. He did start out as Barbara Streisand's hairdresser. And not that we don't want to disrespect hairdressers here because
yeah, you're
listen,
right.
Hairdress. Well, yeah, and they're also like very connected people. They they can be very connected people. But John Peters, giant spider, and they got it. You're right. He got it in Wild Wild West.
Yeah, I think that story is absolutely hilarious, and also just how crappy Wild Wild West is.
It is, and it was such a cool show. It was such a damn cool show that most kids nowadays probably didn't even know it existed. So it was kind of a Western spy show.
Yeah, it wasn't steampunk like the movie, but it was like Western spy stuff. I remember watching it when I was younger. I don't remember too much about it now that I'm older, but I did love the show as the kid, and it was just a complete disaster.
Utterly, yeah. B90210 is woke. Oh, Beverly Hills 90210 is woke about becoming woke. Keep an eye out for Beverly Hills 90210 advertising for Star Wars films since it's Fox. Check out Genlock, says Pinion for Canadian $5. Beverly Hills 90210. I would imagine is it coming back on CW or something like that, or
is that what they're doing?
If it comes back, it'll be woke to the woke.
Is
degree.
it supposed to be like the kids of the original kids?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't watch it then. I won't watch it now.
No.
Did you ever watch it? I never watched it. So.
I caught like a few episodes here and there. It's not like I was like religiously watching it. I always thought the premises was really kind of stupid.
Yeah, I was aware of it because of at the time it was like one of the biggest shows.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest shows.
But I know nothing about it.
No, neither do I. It's like I remember like Tori Spelling is in it, and that's really it.
Yep. Tori.
And
it had nothing to do with her dad being a super producer.
No, not at all.
Or her grandpa or whatever.
Yeah, and I also remember Aaron Spelling doing was it The Masquerade, which is a really shitty adaptation of Vampire the Masquerade.
Yes.
It's so fucking hilarious.
Yes. Aaron Spelling was her dad or grandpa, or was he just old enough to be her grandpa, but he was her dad?
I think it was her dad.
I think so. Seahawk Scott for $20. Happy birthday, Gary. After taxes, etc., you can supersize. Thanks. Yes, I can supersize after YouTube's 30% and taxes, which is like half. Daniel, but thank you, Seahawk Scott. It is greatly appreciated for $20. Thank you. Daniel Reislink for 50 Czechoslovakian pesos. I owned a comic shop just like you, but then I got an arrow to the knee. Yes. And he winks. Thank you, Daniel. Lloyd, $5. Happy birthday, Gary. Go buy yourself something pretty or coffee. Coffee can be pretty. Well, thanks, Lloyd, for the $5.
Pretty in the morning.
God, I would love a Pete's right now. It'd be a great birthday present if Mrs. Nerdrotic went out and got me a Pete's coffee right now.
Is she still in the chat?
She's not gonna. No, don't. Oh, she's flipping me off right now. I can feel it. I can feel the middle finger through the screen. Trooper Bear FN 2525 for $5. HBO Grandmaster or HBD. What's HBD? Oh, happy birthday. Okay, boomer. Happy birthday, Grandmaster Gary. I'm still waiting for the woke reboot version of Song of the South. I have the original on bootleg DVD. I think it could happen.
Oh my God.
We've been talking about like making a parody to like, we need a Blazing Saddles to make fun of this era, to make fun of SJWs.
God, no kidding.
And if you did like a Mel Brooks producer we're gonna make a race and gender swapped Song of the South like mockumentary. I think that's it. Trooper Bear, FN 2525. I think you have comedy gold. Make it happen. Make it happen. You can.
But you'll get fired like years later, much like Sarah Silverman, because she did blackface on her show.
Yes. Yes. You want to talk about a sellout?
Oh my God, such a fucking sellout, dude. Did you hear what she said on that podcast?
No.
Oh man, some black guy did a really great breakdown where he was like listening to it and making comments on it. It's like you could tell that there's like this conflict in her. It's like what she did in the show. It was funny, you know. It was for a reason. It wasn't, you know, meant to be. It's meant to be offensive, but not in the way that, you know, people are taking it these days. And you know, it was commentary on racism. You know, that they're making fun of racism. And, you know, she used blackface to do that. And now she's all apologetic about it. It's like fucking own your shit, lady. I mean, you were funny. You were funny. Now you're sad and pathetic because, you know, you are a part of cancel culture. You're the reason why this shit is happening to you, because, you know, you keep fucking facilitating it.
Speaking of cancel culture, I was in talks. I still want this to happen. I talked to Jeremy about it because Jeremy just talked to Andy Signor. Go check out the videos. They're both on Geeks and Gamers. Very interesting conversations. I want to, hopefully I can get him on the channel because I want to talk to him.
Yeah,
very much like
really
to talk
interesting to find out like his side of the story, because you heard
certainly.
about, you know, you heard about one side about why he was fired, and then you see his side, and he presents evidence to the contrary of what was made against him. And, you know, this is very unfortunate. And it's like we talked about the same thing like with Chris Hardwick and whatnot. And
listen,
it's so unfortunate.
Especially, you know, I was talking about this on the Exozone. I'm not going to bring this person's name up, but somebody, you know, just the biggest prisoner in American history just got, you know, it just happened. And, but we've got Chris Hardwick and Andy Signor getting run out of their jobs, and their careers are gone for what? For maybe being, you know, Andy, sorry, but I mean, like being a bad husband. That's not against the law. And he's certainly owned up to that. And he's very, listen, we're all about second chances here. I've had multiple second chances. I've had third, fourth, and fifth chances. I've made a share of my mistakes, and I'm sitting here grateful, clean and sober, because people, you know, forgave me and gave me chances, or else I'd be, you know, just living on the street.
That's kind of the problem, right? Is like, you know, what happened to forgiveness? I mean, she even talks about how like this one of the guys that worked on her show was a former white supremacist who did some very nasty things, and people had a conversation with him that brought him out of that. And that's the main issue with today, is the fact that no, it's all about cancel. You have to destroy that individual rather than go and have a conversation and maybe change their mind about this stuff.
Yeah, and you're not changing anybody's mind by unpersoning them. And well, I mean, it goes beyond that too.
You're going to turn them into fucking radicals, man. And they're going to do some nasty shit.
And what's happening right now is they're canceling half the audience in entertainment. I mean, that's essentially what they're doing. They're not only, they don't not care that they're offending you, they don't want you watching the stuff. And a lot of people are at least being honest and saying that out loud, like, you know, if you don't like my stuff, don't buy it. And well, finally, people are not buying it. And I think that, and again, we've said this over and over again, that's the only way anything is ever going to change, is when you just stop. Like, you know, Krypton got canceled. That show was an insult to anything artistic, and it was filled with SJW politics and all current year crap. And yeah, they put a Superman logo, and they called they had characters, you know, they had a Zod character, which was nothing like Zod. It was just awful. I mean, Brainiac looked okay, but it was just an utterly awful TV show that was an insult to all nerddom. And it's kind of what Hollywood wants to do. It's like, we don't really want to give you Superman. We'll give you something Superman-like. Try to put some of our politics into it. And thankfully, none of you watched it. Now, there was on Syfy, but it was, I mean, I reviewed the first season. It was freaking awful. It was just awful.
Well, just as a station or channel, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Syfy has gone downhill like over the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
Ever
cable.
since they renamed it from Sci-Fi.
Yeah. Ever since they renamed it, and now it's part of, it's being, cable channels are irrelevant at this point. I'm surprised they're still making shows for them, to be honest with you. I guess there's still people with cable packages that are going to hang on out there, but I don't know. Gary, did you see the Spencer Enterprise on YouTube? I have not seen it yet, Chief Cook, but I will look. Oh, I don't know. It's on YouTube? So what am I searching? The Spencer Enterprise? I'll look at it right now.
Hey, Cleveland, Ripa may have talked about it, but I didn't see it. I saw the other guy who I was talking about. Some black guy. That's his actual YouTube channel, Some Black Guy.
Is that it? Okay, here we go. I'm just looking at it real quick. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. It's here. I'm gonna try to get a still shot of it. It's sleek as hell. I like that. Yeah, it looks, because I'm not the biggest fan of I like the I don't call it the original series. I like Star Trek's Enterprise, and I like the Enterprise in the movies. I really love the one in the motion picture. That's my favorite Enterprise. But this one's cool. Spencer Enterprise A uploaded. Here, I'll screenshot of it. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. It's very sleek. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Spencer Enterprise. There it is. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll show a little bit of the footage. There we go.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, that's
what,
really
what
cool.
is this for?
I don't know. It looks like Spencer's Enterprise. If you enjoy my work, please consider supporting me on Patreon. So I guess it's just I don't know.
Just like, I guess 3D model. Damn, that's
doing his own stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
As hell. I like it. Well done. Well done. We'll keep that image up. I like it. It's pretty. Why are you making us look at Brie Larson crackling for $1.99? I'm sorry.
That was a while back.
Sorry. I truly apologize. I usually don't apologize, but I will apologize for that. I am truly sorry for offending our friends here who support us, and I'm making them look at Brie Larson. That will not happen for the rest of the show. Can't speak for any thumbnails in the future, though. Jody Bowie for $2. Happy almost birthday, Gary. Well, thank you, Jody. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Captain Spire for $5. Happy birthday, Gary. I'm thrilled you recovered from your addictions and you have a fantastic wife and kids. I do. You are an inspirational story indeed. Well, thanks. I hope so. If it can inspire anybody to think about getting some help, that would life complete. That is good enough. Even if one person just thinks about it.
Well, and another thing too, I mean, it's, talking about being an inspiration and all, it's like you succeeded where my brother failed.
Yeah, listen, and it took a lot of failing to get there, and I'm sorry about your brother. And
well,
and I see that a lot. Yeah, it's tough to see that a lot. It gets you get a little numb to it, which sucks. That sucks as well, but you have to. You kind of
yeah, you kind of do.
I just lost my place. Damn it. Give me just a second there.
Brie Larson super chat.
There it is. Captain Spire, thank you again. TK for $5. Me thinks the title Endgame may be more prophetic for the MCU than even the Oracle Feige could have predicted. Happy birthday. I just turned 51 yesterday. Well, happy birthday, my man. Leo, what's up, TK Leo? Yes, I totally agree. I think Endgame had a double meaning right there. And it was the Endgame for the main largely white male characters that they felt like they needed to kill off permanently. And believe me, they're going to, I think, well, they've already tried to do it in the comics and they will try to do it again. Disney, and listen, I've speculated about this before and so have other people. I
have as well.
As far as why they're getting, there's the patriarchy, there's current year politics. And I also think there might be some residual IP matters that forced them to do this as well. You have to factor that in because it's true. There might be some creators who still have some sort of rights. You know, the BBC is a great example of that.
Well, I think that was like a huge issue. I want to say that Jim Starlin wasn't getting any residuals from the MCU.
Yeah, and listen, DC went through that for years with Superman. I mean, they recently resolved something with Superman.
Yeah.
So it's and it's not talked about all the time. So IP always factors in. I think more importantly, it is not more importantly, but I think the biggest factor right now is the politics and SJW Marvel and now becoming SJW MCU. I think that clearly happened. It's not happening anymore. It's happened. It's done. Seal the deal. We just saw what phase 4 is. And is D23, did it happen or is it happen? I think it's happening soon. You know what's funny? Why didn't they save the Obi-Wan announcement? Did that come out as a rumor or did they officially announce Obi-Wan?
I think it's just rumor at this point. This is something I've been seeing kind of floating around.
Yeah, people thought they were going to announce that officially at D23. So maybe that's what they ran with. I'm like, why would they announce that now when D23 is in 2 weeks? But it's clearly happening in the MCU, especially when they didn't mention Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, which are still coming, of course, and they're going to be part of phase 5. And it's underwhelming. And if you look at that group of people they had to gather together at Comic-Con and you compare it to any of the years past, it's just there's nobody there that's going to put a lot of butts in seats right now. And maybe Marvel is at the point kind of like they were with directors. They used to try to get big time directors and now they get younger directors that they can just, who just come in and direct actors. Taika Waititi, he's not directing all the effect scenes. He might have a say in it, but like they have that stuff set up for him. And it was a Captain Marvel. It was a woman who turned down Captain Marvel who came out and said that publicly. She said, I wanted to direct the special effects scene, but they said, no, that stuff's taken care of for you. So that's why she turned down the job.
Yeah.
So that's not me. That's a director saying that. Maybe that was just for Captain Marvel. I don't know. But it just seems like it's going to be more cookie cutter. It's going to be more film. We know.
Well, it's been cookie cutter for a while, so it's not like this is really news, right? I mean, even just going as far back as Ant-Man, you can see where this is just a reskin of Iron Man.
It absolutely is. Go back and look at my review of Ant-Man. I mean, I'm like sitting there going, I don't like it. And people going, I loved it. It was great. I'm like, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. He was a bumbling idiot. He was. I'm all, he was a bumbling idiot throughout the entire movie. His suit wasn't working. When he did something, it was an accident. And it was a Wasp movie.
No. I'm talking about the original Ant-Man, not Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, even that movie it's just,
that movie wasn't great in it, it was good though. It was okay
is what it was.
Well, a lot of them are just okay. And I pointed that out in previous live streams that when Kevin Feige did officially fully take over, which if you go back and look, it's Civil War.
Is that when he fully took over?
That's when he fully took over. He's been in charge for a large portion of it, but he had people over him, shooting him down. Then Alan Horn came in and then, he kind of took over. He had that battle with Ike Perlmutter, who I guess kind of got a soft Me Too'd out of Marvel. I think he's still there. He's still a board member, but I don't know how much say.
Really? He got soft Me Too'd?
Yeah. He had made some racist and sexist remarks and that they brought it up and they capitalized on that, which is what Me Too and Time's Up is, by the way. It's a power play, but again,
absolutely. It's a power play.
And it was used to perfection by Sherry Redstone to get rid of Les Moonves. I mean, he still did the stuff. He was still an asshole, but she knew it the whole time. She just decided to drop that information when it was convenient for her. So, you got to look at her character for that. I mean, I don't think she really cared about those accusations, except benefited her. Just making her a shrewd business person. But I love how nobody brings that up.
No, was it? Who said that was it Midnight's Edge? Okay, yeah, because I remember watching a video about that. Yeah,
when I say nobody, I mean like the access mainstream media. Midnight's Edge is the one who, rightly so, brought that up.
I found that video to be really fascinating.
They do good work.
Yeah.
They do good work over there. And they set the record straight, by the way, on with somewhat as much as they can with the Bad Robot stuff, which is still in play, by the way. There's a lot of people out there going, Bad Robot's gone. No, they're not.
With
they're not.
gone
I
with
would
what?
love them with Star Trek. They still have, they're like a virus. They can't, it's hard to get rid of them. Now they're
just
like gone, but they're not gone.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams is a fucking virus. He literally has, at this point, like infested all reaches of Hollywood.
Yes, that's what he does. He goes somewhere, plants his people, leaves. Remember, there was the rumor that he was offered Star Wars to take over Star Wars from Kathleen Kennedy. It would have been a pay cut for him. It would have been a pay cut. See, he can still have influence over Star Wars with Michelle Rejoin working there, who was one of his people who's got no experience whatsoever running a franchise like that. And I'm guessing she doesn't look that old, so maybe she's like 10 years younger than me. I'm guessing she wasn't buying, going to Toys R Us every Tuesday to buy Power of the Force figures. It's just a guess.
Probably not.
Yeah. Lori Wilson, $5. Welcome to your 6th decade. Oh, man. I didn't even look at it like that. The water's fine. Come in here. Thank you, Lori. That's a different perspective on things. Thank you, Lori. I'm going to be sad now. Destiny Captain for $1.99. Happy pre-birthday, Gary. You've got 2 years on me. Yes. It's not the years, it's the mileage, Destiny Captain. But you know that. Thank you, my friend. Jason Smoot for $20. Best channel on YouTube. I don't watch TV anymore, just YouTube. Thanks. Thank you. And that's a point I would thank you for the $20, Jason. Thank you so much. And I love it's weird being somebody's favorite channel. I'm okay with you guys just subscribing it, but hearing favorite channel, that makes me happy. That makes me happy. So comics division, what doesn't get mentioned in the streaming wars, and I know I bring it up here a lot, but it really doesn't get mentioned by anybody is YouTube and streaming and how that factors in to these streaming wars. And you're giving all these creatives $250 million, $100 million to develop TV shows when they are in direct competition now with Jeremy and his pool house at Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah. Well, one thing too, I'm gonna pimp another channel. So when you guys get done with the stream, I highly suggest you go check out Wisecrack's video about the whole thing with like streaming and how you don't own anything anymore. It's a really good video, and it kind of describes the sad state of where we are. And the funny thing is, I remember back in, it was the early 2000s. It was probably right before 9/11 happened, that the Register did this article that just kind of predicted all this stuff that was happening with the whole thing with licensing and that you don't own software or your music or your movies anymore. And the sad thing is it's where we are now.
You can. I mean, it's just, if you're clever enough and you want to take the time, you can burn anything.
Yeah, but
still burn a disc. It's not hard. It just takes time.
The crazy thing with like end user agreements now, it's like one of the things that they brought up in the Wisecrack videos, they're talking about John Deere and how basically you're not allowed to repair your own tractor. You have to take it to an authorized John Deere repair facility.
If you buy a John Deere.
If you buy John Deere, it's like that is like
same with Tesla.
Outrageous.
You can't take your Tesla to Joe's garage. He's not going to know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
It's proprietary cars and stuff like, that's something to think about. Photoshop, I subscribe to Photoshop and After Effects and Premiere now.
I'm
actually okay with it. It turns out being a lot cheaper than.
Well, there is a certain amount of benefit to it, because if you think about it, paying $25 a month for an app or $50 a month is a lot cheaper than dropping $500 or $1,000 on several pieces of software that you typically buy once a year or twice a year, or excuse me, not twice a year, but once every 2 years. So for people that don't have a lot of money, it's easier, but you should have the option to go and buy the software, not just lease it.
I totally agree with that. But it was I can't remember. I think it was Tom at Midnight's Edge. We just got started talking about Blu-rays and stuff, and it kind of inspired me to buy more physical media because I remember reading the iTunes story where people had purchased, I can't remember what movie it was, but then it disappeared. And that's the danger of it. So that's why you still want to buy physical media. And if you looked at that Star Wars breakdown that Data Racer put up on Twitter that I mentioned in my video, Blu-ray and DVD sales, I don't know if they were including digital sales in that. They probably were almost equal to the box office. So they're still there. They still exist, but that's it. That's international. DVDs still sell pretty well in other countries. I remember in 2011 when I was working for Technicolor and I was making more DVDs than I was Blu-rays still back then. And that was, Blu-rays that was right around the height of the Blu-ray was, 10, 11, 12, 13. But I still buy physical media except for Endgame because I didn't buy it today. I had a chance. I had it in my hands and I'm like, I don't want to buy this.
It makes sense why I didn't get the code from you.
Yeah. I just didn't want to buy it. Well, I figure you're clever. You'd figure it out.
No, it's not a big deal. I still remember the movie pretty well.
I just rented it for $5.99, but you could, you can get it for $5.99 on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's like $6, man. Logic Noodles for Australian $10. Andrew Doyle created a parody Twitter user called Titanium McGrath. Titania McGrath, the brilliantly makes fun of the SJW and wrote a hilarious book about it called Woke, A Guide to Social Justice. I'll check it out.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. I have not heard of that, but I will check it out. Thank you.
There's like this one guy I've seen on YouTube. I can't remember the name of this channel, but it's pretty funny where he pretends to be an SJW and it's pretty funny. It's just
the redheaded guy. I know what you're talking about.
He's he has like really long hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
Trooper Bear FN 2525 $5. Franchise fatigue is the term they are coined to explain poor writing, ticket sales, and blame fans for not ingesting the woke content they're selling. I know. Damn, that's a great point.
Fucking hilarious. Yeah, that's their defense. It's either the toxic fans or it's fatigue.
So what's going to be their excuse this time? So the funniest thing is we're seeing Disney kind of pay the piper now. We're seeing the effects, the real-time effects of Last Jedi, which are long-lasting and they are going to last even further. They're not going away, and they've finally given up the Russian bot angle.
Oh,
remember, wasn't that long ago we were just Russian bots?
Yeah,
like people in Russia were Boris, I'm downvoting Captain Marvel and Last Jedi again. I need 5 more accounts. Where's my backup? Come on,
it makes no fucking sense.
It makes no fucking sense. Why? So the logic behind it was
it's
politically motivated because the alt-right wanted Star Wars to not succeed because of the election. The alt-right had it out against Star Wars.
Oh, because it had female leads. That was their excuse.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Because it had a black stormtrooper and a female lead.
Well, the actual narrative, I think, was more racist than anything towards the black stormtrooper. Don't you think? I think Finn being a clown I think is really backwards, to be honest with you.
Oh, they also made him a janitor too.
They made him a janitor, so he was cleaning the toilets. And
I only think they did that because of the Clerks reference.
That was the only story before all this brouhaha happened. So we saw the trailer, and the only thing I was interested in is I want to know who this black stormtrooper is. I want to know what his deal is. He why did he, it was obvious that he bailed on the stormtroopers. Why? Are we going to actually get a look into how the whole process of the stormtroopers and everything? We know the clone troopers, but we know they've gone away from that. And of course they didn't. They just made him a janitor. It didn't really matter. He was a joke. and there was a lot of
just like Captain Phasma.
I'm sure there's a comic somewhere. Somebody goes, well, it was actually that story was told in a comic and 2 prequel novels.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
and it
fucking
didn't count.
fantastic, but it doesn't
Yeah,
count unless it's in the fucking movie.
exactly. Sam Whiskey 4.99. Alex Kurtzman does know the difference between Star Trek and Star Search, but doesn't. I'm sorry. Alex Kurtzman doesn't know the difference between Star Trek and Star Search, but he knows how to destroy a franchise. And happy birthday, Sam Whiskey. Thank you very much. And he does. He's actually really, really good at it. He's destroyed Spider-Man. He's destroyed the Dark Universe with one film. And I'm almost done with The Mummy, and I will review it. And the fact that they gave that guy a franchise, one of the biggest franchise, one of the best franchises in Hollywood, it will no longer be considered big when he's done. And it will fall into obscurity when he is done. Star Trek is aging out. They had a chance to bring people back, and they decided to use something that's already failed. And
I think someone needs to make a meme where it says, "Hi, I'm Alex Kurtzman. I may not know anything about your franchise, but I'll sure as hell pour gasoline on it and burn it to the ground."
exactly. Listen, there's people who take the other side of the debate, and I highly disagree, but I think they were just trying to play devil's advocate and say, well, he's made some money in the past, but I disagree. He's been a part of stuff that has made money in the past, but anything that's made money that he was a part of, J.J. Abrams was involved. He was attached to it. He wasn't the person in charge. He wrote an episode. He wasn't in charge of Alias. He wasn't in charge of Fringe. He was certainly one of the people in charge, but not the person in charge. The stuff he has been in charge of has failed miserably, failed utterly and miserably. So I don't see how people keep getting him money other than like they're lazy in Hollywood. They don't do their homework. And that's how people are able to get away with that. They just look at bottom line. So Alex Kurtzman come in and goes, yeah, I was part of this movie from 10 years ago that made a bunch of money. I mean, forget the fact that I didn't direct it and I just co-wrote it with somebody who probably knew more about Star Trek than I did, which he has admitted that Robert Orci was the Star Trek guy. And and Kurtzman says he was more of a Star Wars guy. I don't want to be creepy and look into the guy's background, but I'm betting he wasn't a Star Wars guy either. I'm betting he wasn't much of a nerd when he was growing up. He looks like maybe he was a film geek. I guess his parents were producers. He looks like he's got a lot of help. I don't know. I don't care. But he's destroying Star Trek, and it looks like he's going to be able to continue to do so. So that's bad news for everybody. Right after everybody's like, Star Trek is saved. No, it's not. I wish it was.
What are you talking about? It's saved. It's been burnt to the ground. I mean, I don't know how you can say Star Trek has been saved.
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
we're not even clear on what. Okay, for one, Viacom and CBS haven't merged yet. It hasn't happened. J.J. Abrams and Bad Reboot have not signed with Warner Brothers yet. They're signing. They have moved out of their Paramount offices, but the deal isn't done yet. And we don't know who's in Bob Backish is in charge, or Sherry Reyes. Nobody knows yet. It is way too early to tell. And it's for it to be saved, it needs to stop production. They need to bring new people in, and that's going to take a few years. It will not be saved on the fly with Alex Kurtzman.
I think the best way of doing it, and again, this is never going to happen, is that, yeah, they need to stop, apologize, wait a couple years, make all that shit not canon, and then rather than doing something in the past, do something in the future moving forward. Because that's like the whole thing with Star Trek. It's about boldly going forward, not in reverse.
And it did. It went in reverse and crashed, and they just didn't need to. It was so unnecessary, but it just showed the lack of creativity. You know, when they decided to bring in all the bad, I mean, like that formula was failing already when they decided to go with that aesthetic, and they would just started off on the wrong foot. And it clearly showed that they didn't care what the fans think, because Star Trek, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek is known for lens flares. That is all it's known for now.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny.
That's the takeaway from it. Yeah. And not for telling a good story and not for memorable bag. Like, I can't remember what Khan's plan was in Into Darkness, but I don't care.
The funny thing too is, they explained how Khan was white in the comic series that they had that was going on. It's like, you think you would have mentioned it in the fucking movie.
Well, and then they lied to the fandom and like everybody knew they were lying. And then,
everybody fucking.
oh, and by the way, Alex Kurtzman and Robert Orsi popped off on the fans on Twitter pretty harshly, like, and they got in a lot of trouble for that. So they already got off in the bad foot with the fandom, and then there was the lawsuits with the fan films. And listen, fan films, some of them probably got out of control and started making a few bucks here and there. So what?
Yeah.
So fracking what?
It's not like they were fucking robbing them blind.
Yeah, you're not losing anything. When somebody is making a fan film, it is a free advert for your franchise.
It really is.
Think about it. Just, yeah. Like, you know what? Yeah, technically you could do something. And if somebody like egregiously crosses the line, go get them, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like, CBS hasn't stolen anything, Justice for Anas, in my opinion. So,
well, but that's okay because they're a big company and they have lots of lawyers. So, they can crush the little man, but God forbid you're a fan who makes a fan film. You're stealing money at that point.
And yeah. And as far as, stealing IPs and plagiarism, it does happen all the time in Hollywood, but people also win their cases all the time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And what they do is they do a settlement and they walk away and nothing gets said. But I personally know somebody who won a big case, a huge case. But it got, part of the deal was got to be quiet about it.
Can't talk about it.
But it was a big deal. But it does, when it happens to Star Trek, it's a black eye in your franchise when it already got a black eye previously by suing fan films. But after the previous black eye, with Kurtzman and Orsi attacking fans and then basically crapping on the franchise and making it a joke. So it's been black eye after black eye after black eye. And then you wonder why Star Trek Las Vegas has less people than the previous years. Well, for one, the excitement of the 50th anniversary, which they completely screwed the pooch on, by the way. Doctor Who did its 50th anniversary right. Whatever you think about Doctor Who right now, which I don't like it did its 50th.
No, they did that was right. The day. That was Day of the Doctor, right?
Yes, that was
a very good episode.
Build up to it, everything. Tom Baker ending up in it, like it was effing huge. And Star Trek, what they made a Barbie doll. They made a Barbie doll for the 50th anniversary, and that's the only thing I remember. And they did something at the con, but there was no, like, they should have done a special episode. They should have done a special episode of Star Trek, but we couldn't get that because of the rights issues and the licensing. But no, that doesn't exist. That never existed. Okay, fine.
So how was it, by the way? How was the con, and did you wear your Justice for Anas t-shirt?
I did. I wore it all day Saturday. I got a picture with Q with it on. I got a picture with I wasn't wearing with Shatner. I was wearing a different shirt. And I walked around all day, got some dirty looks, but I mostly got thumbs up. People were it was great. It was a great experience meeting the fans, finding out like how many people actually watched my videos in real life, which was sobering. It was cool as hell. Because I mean, generally, dude, when I'm amongst my people. So at Comic-Con, I got pulled aside, by a few people, but at Star Trek, it was like a lot. It was really cool. Normally it never happens, and that's fine. That's great. Like, let's keep perspective here. But it was fun to meet the other YouTubers. It was fun meeting the fans. We had a meetup. That was tons of fun. I got to meet Jeff from World Class Bullshitters and Jesse and Tom and Rob and Mecca, and Proper Jeremy was there, and Matthew Kadish. And he was driving people around. It was lots of fun. That part of it was great. So I will go back again for that. I don't know if I'll bother even going in the convention. I got to meet. I got herded past Shatner for $200, and a picture was taken while it was happening. But yeah, I won't spend the thousands of the gold, copper, and silver packages are a complete waste of money.
Wow,
total waste of money. Pay the $75 for the one day thing or the weekend thing. It was burning money. It was such a waste. They gave me you at a copper package, you pay, almost $1,000. You expect to get like something. I got a guide and a Star Trek Discovery coin.
What, are you serious?
Yeah, that's all you get.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
And a reserved seat at the panels where they didn't fucking announce anything. It was a total ripoff. A total ripoff.
You know what? At least when I paid $500 for Stanley Alamo City Comic Con, I got his autograph.
Yeah, that's
on Spider-Man 300, which I previously had my photo with him and priority seating to his panel.
Yeah, and listen, it was worth it to see Shatner, and Melissa got to take a picture of him on the bridge. So that everything that was worth it. And meeting everybody, I will never pay that ticket again. I'm probably going to go to the Gallifrey one down in LA. I want to check out a Doctor Who convention, which is about the same size. They limit the amount of tickets. It's about 4,000 people. Funny thing is, it normally sells out about now, and it's not sold out.
Oh, wow. I wonder why.
And listen, the numbers were down at Star Trek. This is a lot of people told me that, like a lot. I wasn't there previous years, so I was taking their word for it. But no, these are people who are defending Disco, and they're all no, the numbers are down right now.
No, dude. Yeah. I wonder why.
And yeah. And a couple surreal things happened. I met Clint Howard, thanks to Tom and Rob and Mecca. That was cool as hell. I got to talk to Clint Howard. That was fun. And met an actor from one of the Star Trek shorts, and he pulled me aside and said he watched the videos, and that was interesting. Got some interesting info on that. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Jason Smoot, seems everything is straight up about working towards the election instead of a good story. Do not want. Listen, I want a good story. Jason Smoot, you want a good story. We all want a good story, but we're not going to get that over the next year. It's pretty clear what we're going to get and everything we get. I am cautiously optimistic of The Expanse not going this route. I think they're just too far. Listen, it's beneath Star Trek to get preachy and partisan. It's beneath it.
That really is. I mean, it was built on being a uniting force, not a division.
And it's beneath. Yep, and it's absolutely beneath Doctor Who, but they did it. It's beneath Star Wars, but now it's not anymore because Star Wars has been brought so far down. It's right at its level.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason Spoon, for the $20. Thank you very much.
So, what do you think about the rumors of around Doctor Who?
I think there's something to it. I know of one of the people reporting on it. I don't know who started the rumor. I don't know. But the first person I started hearing, some people started to, anytime there's a Doctor Who rumor, I start getting DMs. So, and I thought it was weird because I didn't get DMs on this one right away from the usual people, but I noticed it from the TARDIS Zone was reporting on it. And he was reporting on like 60th anniversary stuff. And then Doomcock did a video, then everybody else did a video after that. But I wasn't hearing from my usual people. So that's why I was like very cautious. I was like, I don't know. I'm not hearing from my usual people who I know. And then when I reached out to them, they didn't know anything. They didn't know anything. But I think it's really weird that we haven't heard a thing since that rumor was reported. And they think they squashed it with a Radio Times article from sources. So that makes me very suspicious. So my belief is that like I reported back in November of 2018 when Starburst reported on this. And it was just from their article. I didn't report it. I just brought you their article. Because I don't want to be about like, I was the first one to report this and I broke this story. I don't So I was just reading an article from Starburst magazine, and I just happened to be the first one on YouTube to read that article, or the one that got the most traction, whatever. It doesn't matter. And they reported that Chibnall would be out after 2019 because he wasn't very happy with the process. He didn't want to make a series every year. BBC wanted a series made every year. He said he couldn't do it, but he'll fulfill some of the obligation. He originally had a 5-year plan, and I guess his 5-year plan was to do a series every other year over 5 years. So do 3 series in 5 years.
Hilarious.
And they weren't down with that. And they were kind of stuck with him. So they stuck with him, and he brought back the same people. So we're going to get the exact same shit we got in series 11. So my guess is he's gone after that. He could be gone right now. I am like, nobody knows. Nobody knows. All we heard was from inside sources. The rumors are nonsense. Nobody said, and nobody was fired. I understand they don't want to respond to every single thing, but the thing caught fire. And I think the most interesting thing about it, comics, was it got people excited for the first time in a year and a half. Whether it was true or not, it doesn't really matter. It got people excited. And at the time, more people were talking about David Tennant possibly returning.
Yeah, that's the one I'm honestly, if that was to happen, I would start watching Doctor Who again, because he was my favorite Doctor, and I dropped out when Matt Smith took over. I was never completely sold on Matt Smith, even though that they did have some good stories and whatnot. But I was a diehard Tennant fan.
No, I loved him. I like Matt Smith. I do. I was fine with him, and I would have been fine with Capaldi, but he just never got the good stories. And
I was gonna say Capaldi, I thought was also a very good pick, but he got fucked.
Yeah, he got screwed. And listen, the damage to Doctor Who started with his era. It's not his fault, but it had and then it just a nail in the coffin to the franchise was Jodie. And there's just people in denial about it. But generally, those are people who their entire channels or websites are 100% reliant on Doctor Who, which they don't need new Who. There's 50 years of old Who. You could just talk about old Who. I mean, that's honestly, I don't want to hear anybody talking about series 11. What are you going to tell me about the space racist from Rosa? What are you going to tell me about the frog dimension? Are you going to tell me
men can get pregnant?
Yes, men can get pregnant. Which that whole episode was kind of a talking about healthcare. It's like, I don't, in doctor fighting circumstances, nothing felt like Doctor. It was terrible. It was awful. I don't know how many times I could say I reviewed I watched every episode. So there's a lot of people reporting on it, and they can do that, but I watched and reviewed every single episode live right after the show, like I do here, and I will do it for series 12. And if it was good, I would have told you, but it was terrible. And they brought the same exact people back to do series 12. So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, because it was a smashing success, Gary.
It was a huge, yeah, the first 2 episodes did great. And then the rest didn't. And nobody's buying any of the toys. That I know.
Yeah.
That I know.
That's fucking funny.
I have an old friend who goes back to my comic shop days, who works with the toy company, and it's not good. It's not. They've seen better days. They still sell some stuff. They still sell some merchandise. Somebody emailed me a number, which can't be true, but I appreciate it. I'm not saying this person's full of shit. I'm just saying they might be misinformed. But the licensing fee for Doctor Who somewhere in the like around $4 billion. No, because that's how much Disney pretty much paid for Marvel Comics in 2009 for to buy it. So that might be like from the licensing over a certain amount of time. Certainly, absolutely, because it licenses to multiple countries. Thing is, though, nobody's going to want to buy the new stuff. What you're licensing is the old stuff. And they just got a bunch of money from HBO Max. That's why I thought it was weird that the rumors came out then, right after they got this big influx of money from HBO Max signing that deal. I don't know if they get the money right away. I'm sure they do if they sign the deal. And yeah, I now, considering the BBC, they probably spread that money out over multiple TV shows and don't give it to all the Doctor Who. Doctor Who pays for probably most of the network right now. But yeah, I don't know. Most of the excitement was from David Tennant coming back, talking about the 60th anniversary, which is still years off. I think it's more interesting hearing the rumor that John Barrowman started, that I wish it was true, to doing a Torchwood movie with the Metacrisis Doctor and Rose in the alternate dimension. I think that would be
really fucking cool.
That would be cool. That's the reason why he's there.
Yeah.
I fully expected him to come back at some point, and he is, and he will. They did that so David Tennant could come back, because we know David Tennant will come back. He will come back.
Fuck yeah.
But I don't want him just back for a special.
I want him back as the Doctor. I mean, like I said, if they actually bring him back as the Doctor, and because of the whole timey-wimey thing, you could still do stories about him. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely bring me back to Doctor Who.
Yep. And they set up that you can revisit old faces, and they talked about it in the 50th anniversary.
Yep.
This guy's Enterprise A is great. Saw it before The Last Jedi. Says Mega Jetty 1 for $2. What's up, Mega Jetty? Thank you very much. Daniel Reislake for 50 Czechoslovakian pesos. There is a way to defeat J.J. Abrams. You have to send Doomcock to challenge and defeat him at a lightsaber duel. Well, yeah, I mean, Doomcock wouldn't even use a lightsaber, though.
Doomcock would send a robot with a lightsaber. Why does he need to do it himself?
JJ would send Rey, who can just pick up a lightsaber and defeat anybody, but probably not Doomcock.
She could probably, just sneeze and defeat anybody. So,
yeah. I want Doctor Strange 2 to be just a movie about him. Jody Bowie, thank you for the $2.
It probably won't.
It won't be. They put Scarlet Witch, which is not a good match at all.
Oh, you serious? They actually have Scarlet Witch in there with him?
She's gonna be in the movie, and it's not. There's no.
It's gonna be a Scarlet Witch movie.
Listen, Elizabeth Olsen. It seems like a perfectly nice person. Her Scarlet Witch is a white wall. It's a glass of water. It's blandly competent. It doesn't look like Scarlet Witch. There's nothing that excites me about that character at all.
No.
She couldn't hold her own solo movie, so they put her with Doctor Strange, and those characters don't mix. She's an Avenger. I'm sorry. They just
with Doctor Strange. So many different other characters they could bring in. Brother Voodoo being one, or was it Dr. Voodoo? I don't remember.
It's a Brother Voodoo.
Brother Voodoo. Okay. There's so many other characters they could bring in for Doctor Strange, but honestly, it should be, his movie. And it sounds like they're just trying to make a Scarlet Witch movie with Doctor Strange, because that's what Disney does now.
Well, that's that's the way to kind of, it's a sneaky way to make it female centric. So like Solo was a female centric movie.
Yes.
So they'll do the same thing. Is he will get all of his advice, wisdom, guidance from the female character.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. I was wondering if they were going to try and slip in, because during the whole SJW Marvel with Doctor Strange, they were setting up. They introduced this new character named Selma, and they were kind of setting it up for her to be Sorcerer Supreme. Because towards the end of the run, she started developing magical abilities and whatnot, and she ends up saving Doctor Strange, blah blah blah. And right around the time that series ended is when I guess Marvel realized that they were losing money hand over fist, and they started bringing back in all the original characters that they replaced. Mm-hmm. So she never had a chance to go and actually replace Doctor Strange.
No, never. Listen, why don't you bring in Clea? I mean, like, there's other female, like I said, Moondragon. Bring it. Like, the Doctor Strange is good with Defenders. I wish they would do a Defenders movie. Why couldn't you lead towards that? It's because of China. They can't do the supernatural stuff that much. I guess there's some. They can do some of it, but they can't do all of it. And that's the best part of Marvel. And it looks like they're not going to do that because of China and their rules, which sucks. Because we can have Namor and Doctor Strange and the Hulk and the Silver Surfer on a team fighting demons and space demons, and freaking, they can be galactic and supernatural. And again, you could bring in Moondragon, Hellcat, the real Hellcat. I love the Defenders. That was my favorite team book. And because they're, I don't know, I like the Avengers, but Avengers was so, I don't know, back then I liked things that were weird.
Speaking of Hellcat,
so mainstream.
Do you know who's writing the new Hellcat book?
Yes, I did see that. Zoe Quinn. Quinn. So, I mean, like, Marvel Comics is dead. Marvel Comics is dead. You can just consider it dead at this point. So they hired a writer who helped kill Vertigo.
Yes.
Whom I bumped into at Comic-Con, by the way.
I saw your video mentioning that. How did that play out?
Well, I was looking down on my phone, so I was walking, which is it's not advisable at Comic-Con to be walking and looking down your phone, and I just bumped into her. So I looked up and I'm like that, and she gave me kind of a dirty look, and I gave her a dirty look, and that was it. That's how it went down. But I should have said, how does it feel to have killed Vertigo Comics? I should have asked her that, but I didn't. Missed opportunity. All right. Let's keep looking at that picture. I like that Enterprise. You like that Enterprise? I like that Enterprise. We are seeing the larger result of corporate environment creating sci-fi and fantasy on an industrial scale without knowing the genre or fans. Hire people that know the material. It's sci-fi deja vu. It really is. And you're absolutely right. It's a bunch of bankers making pie charts, trying to identify groups of fandom through focus groups and seeing what's the best result. And the best result for them is these kids really love reboots for some reason. They're just getting, for one, the information they're getting from these focus groups are outdated. Like, they shouldn't even be using them anymore. I don't even know why they do, because it'd be very easy to get, it's easier now than ever to hear the fan. Like, before we didn't have an internet or anything, comics division. You had to have, the Nielsen's. Where did he go? Why did he leave? Why did you leave?
Okay, no, something weird happened. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was really weird. It's like suddenly something stopped, and I totally missed your Zoe Quinn bumping into her.
I just bumped into her, and that's it. But
okay, gotcha.
So I'm talking about how focus groups are like, we don't need them anymore. There's such a waste of money and time when you can listen. Just have somebody watch YouTube for a little while, or keep an eye on Twitter. Get an intern. Give them a sandwich. I'm gonna do it for you.
But it's like, I remember the Nielsen ratings and whatnot, and it's that was pretty important. I think they gather data a different way now. I mean, with everything being streaming and whatnot, they can pretty much figure out what you're watching these days. But yeah, focus groups. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about focus groups.
I think they're a waste of time. Utter waste of time. Thank you, Jason Spoon, for $20. JS for $4.99. Hey, Gary, I got your last $15 What's in the Box Patreon tier. How did you do that? That thing has been sold out for months. Did somebody give one up? I thought I shut that down. What's up with the podcast? I have not seen one this week. You're talking about on nerdrotic.com. I am behind on schedule, but they'll get uploaded. But he's probably talking about the podcast on nerdrotic.com. I usually take every live stream and put it in MP3 form and put it on iTunes through my website, which is nerdrotic.com, which is essentially a backup. I get to it when I can. And right now I have been extremely busy. As a matter of fact, I barely had time for this. I almost called it off today.
Damn, dude, considering we called it off last weekend.
Yep, but I almost called it off. Right now, it's more important that I get my studio in order so I can make more content. And right now, I live stream every day, and I've got obligations. I've got family obligations and stuff.
Right.
It's just, I'm super behind right now.
No, so, I hear you, man. That's like
I'm probably gonna shut everything. If I'm not caught up by Sunday, I'm shutting everything down until I get this done. Not gonna make a video, not make anything. I got to get this done, and then I'll probably get it done in 24 hours. But
yeah, that's what it. When I rearranged my office, it took me, I think, like a Saturday, and I actually have a pretty good setup. So if I ever flip the camera on, I have a pretty good backdrop of stuff.
Yeah, I like these things don't put themselves up. Plus,
no, they don't. That looks like a lot of fucking work.
Plus, there's the house. Plus, there's other stuff. I mean, like, I got to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that gets in the way of making YouTube videos, especially when you have a full-time job.
But I'll get to it. Yeah, I don't know how you got the box though, because they're gone. They're supposed to be gone. They've been sold out for months. But we'll talk about that. Yeah, because the only reason I'm keeping those tiers up is because I have to get. Actually, I've sent out all the boxes. I need to send out some of the comics, but that's it. But I made new tiers, so you can check them out at Patreon. And there's ones where I'm going to be doing Doctor Who commentaries. I'm going to be doing commentaries on A Song of Ice and Fire chapters, Lord of the Rings chapters, Hobbit chapters, Expanse commentary and lore will be coming to this channel. I'm going to start because I don't know. Well, I don't care if anybody else does it. I'm going to be doing some Expanse lore. First video planned, and this is like a couple months away, people, but I want to talk about the proto-molecule, the origins of the proto-molecule. And I want to have a couple before the show comes out because I'm a fan of the books. And then eventually someday, because I almost caught up, Mahler and I think it's Wolf or Rags, I forgot, are going to talk about Buffy and Angel. Jody Bowie, I want Dr. I already read that one, but thank you, Jody. And thank you, JS. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Daniel Reislink for, I already read that one too. Ian Gledhill for Canadian $10. We are seeing the larger result. Did I read this one too? Yes. Damn it. JPRPH1 for $19.99. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, JPRPH1. Thank you for the $19.99. But nothing else to say other than happy birthday. Well, I appreciate that. I do. Pogs Rebbins for $9.99. Until CBS All Access is defunct, I'm sending you super chats instead. Yes, for crap TV. Happy birthday and justice for Anas. Justice for Anas. Yes.
I don't get the whole clapping thing, but I know it's a Twitter thing. I've seen people do it on Twitter, but
I don't do it from Twitter.
I know.
I do it because I get excited.
I think that's probably the reason why people do that on Twitter.
Oh, they do.
You never see those tweets where people have like the clapping and they're saying it's like there's a clap between each word.
They
just
do?
like that. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
I'm not on Twitter that much. I'm not.
I'm not either. I just happen to see it's usually SJWs that do it.
Oh, I'm sorry I did it. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So my Twitter, I read my DMs and people I follow, like people who follow me, I'll interact with them, but I don't get into any of that bullshit. It is such a time suck.
Yeah, it really is.
Above it. I'm saying I would get involved in it and it would suck all my time. So
no, totally, dude. It's a total time suck.
I would totally do it. I'm not saying I'm above it at all. So I would get into it. I'd be all, fuck you. But no, I already did that. And I got in a lot of trouble back in the early days. So Jody Bowie for $5. Doctor Who needs to clean house and start fresh for Chibnalls and Jody. Not as cool as me. Kill the show forever. Peter got Sonic screwdrived. Yes. Peter Capaldi. Yes. Peter he majorly
got screwdrivered.
Yes, he did. And, Jody, it's just my speculation. This is a guy who walked in there and said, you would have to drag me out of the show kicking and screaming. And then it was 2 years later. He's like, oh,
fuck this, I'm out of here.
I'm kind of old and I'm getting tired of running around. And yeah, so there must be just bullshit politics, like just personal, like corporate. I can't imagine what it's like at the BBC. My God, it must.
Dude, I would love a peek behind the curtain. I wouldn't want to be involved in it, but I would love to see the decision-making process.
Oh, it's probably like working for like 1984, the corporation.
Yeah.
Like you have to watch what you say at all times. Like you can't even like joke with somebody in the bathroom because somebody will report you for wrong speak or wrong thing. It's probably the most paranoid, horrible place to work on the planet. And you have to have this strict. I wouldn't be surprised if you to get hired there. You have to answer a bunch of questions, like and you have to answer them, and you have to be of a certain type of politics to work there. And do
That's
a certain amount of asking. It must be. It is discriminatory, but fucking it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I read their inclusion, their diversity and inclusion packet. Their kind of statement for the next couple. Well, it was written 4 years ago.
Jeez, it's online. Someone sent it to you.
Yeah, somebody sent it to me. I think you can find it. It's pretty
wow.
Fine. It's funny. I mean, it's comical, and I'm like, God damn, what an affluent society to where we can think about like shit that doesn't matter this much. Jason Smoot for $20. CBS/Viacom feels like Warner Brothers is this where we are heading? True. Like Warner Brothers, but not as big. Yes, that's where we're heading. We're heading for another corporation who's not going to understand Star Trek. CBS doesn't understand it. Viacom and Paramount, like let's be honest, they burned it out and they didn't understand it either. There was a time where they did great work with it, but there was a time where they didn't, and that's why it's in the shape it is. So
sadly,
thank you, Jason, for $20. Thank you, Jason. Philip Andrus for $10. Happy birthday, Gary. Hope they don't ever mess with the Expanse and SJW that. Oh, word, Philip. Thank you so much.
I don't know, dude. I am kind of worried that
I am too.
That's going to happen.
It can. It has
very easily.
The books do. The books straight up do, but you can listen. When I was reading them, it wasn't that bad, so it didn't bother me. But if I go back and read some of those books, especially the sixth book and the seventh book.
When did those books come out?
3 years ago and 2 years ago.
That would make sense.
Yep. So it was right in the height of like SJW Marvel and stuff. And yeah. Oh, there's one. I don't want to spoil it. There's one scene where I threw the book after I read it. I was like, bullshit. And the show can't do it though, because to do the stuff they did in the books, you would have to not focus the show on the crew of the Rocinante anymore. Because the books focus less and less on the crew of the Rocinante as they go on. Philip Andrews for $10. Happy birthday, Gary. I already read that. Duh. Kenny Jones, $10. Gary, you and the Fandom Menace family give me what Hollywood won't, and that's the much needed escapism. Thank you for all the hard work you put into your channel. I enjoy your content more every day. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate
I remember a time too when, entertainment was about escapism, and sadly not anymore. It has to be about politics.
I know.
Like, it's indoctrination is what
it really is. And like, as far as television is concerned, there's always been progressive politics and stuff, but it hasn't been like this outwardly woke except for the last few years. And listen, the biggest show that changed, and I've talked about all the time, is Westworld. Westworld season 1, great.
That was fucking fantastic.
Westworld was
brilliant.
2, garbage. Garbage. And it happened that took 2 years off, and that's pretty much 2015 to 2017. Yeah, there it is. How about a woke group?
It came out last year, right?
Was it last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
No.
I thought it was last year.
Was it 2018 it came out? I can't remember that far back now. I thought it was 17. I thought it was 15 and 17.
Maybe it was.
It's been it's not coming out till 2020. So maybe it was 18. So it's 2016, 2018, because it took 2 years up between.
Yeah, okay, that sounds right.
How about a woke version of Life Force? Jolton Burrow for $2. Yeah, it'll be a guy walking around naked with his little Life Force flopping around, and we'll see a lot of guy butt. Yep. Oh yeah, it'll be and he will be saving the environment. It'll be a vampire for the environment.
Vampire from outer space saving the environment.
Saving the environment, yes. A $20 message retracted. Oh no. What happened? Sorry if that was me. Apologies. Or YouTube. If it was YouTube, sometimes if you get salty in the comments, they retract it for you. Andrew Titchener for $4.99. Happy birthday, young one. Oh, you're too kind. I'm young in maturity. There you go. Jason Smoot for $20. Is Gore the God Butcher the villain in Love and Thunder? For the love of God, please tell me he isn't. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either, and I have to agree because this is probably Jason Aaron's only good run on Thor. I really liked the Gore the God Butcher and then the God Bomb series. Jason Aaron did a pretty good job with it. And if they ruin that, I don't think they'll pull it in. I really don't. I think they'll do something else. I have no idea what, because they have like no setup for Jane Foster Thor at all. I mean, it would have made sense to have her, being introduced and as having cancer at some point in time during, the end of the Infinity War or something like that. So the only interesting part of her character, they're probably not going to have.
No. And they really, in Ragnarok, it's like, I love Kate Blanchett. Okay. I love Galadriel. I do. I like a lot of stuff she was in. I like a lot of stuff she has said. But she was kind of wasted in Ragnarok. She was
fuck yeah, she was wasted.
She wasn't she was supposed to be scary, supposed to be creepy. And they you're right. They really made it more cartoony, and and that's what hurt it the most. It's you got to balance. You got to throw in humor and levity. It can't be as dark as Dark World.
No.
It seems like Marvel doesn't even take their own shit serious anymore. And it started, I guess, you could say it started with Ragnarok, and maybe it's trying to go off of Guardians, but the biggest difference with Guardians had tons of heart. And Peter Quill was a cool character. Now we'll see what happens in Guardians 3. My bet is he's freaking Ant-Man all over again.
Well, I think that's the in a weird sort of way they're kind of cucking him against Thor, because it's like, now that you have Thor supposed to be in Guardians 3, he's gonna be playing second fiddle to him, and that's the thing I think it's gonna suck with Thor. I mean, with Thor being there.
Yeah. But I'll be over the MCU by then. It'll be 2 years, and maybe it won't happen. Maybe it'll be dead. Listen, I don't know if there'll be a phase 6. I think there'll be a phase 5.
I think there will too. But I mean, currently the thing that kind of sucks about phase 4 is that minus like a handful of things, there's like nothing I'm interested in seeing.
There's absolutely nothing I'm interested in.
I think Shang-Chi is like the only thing I'm kind of interested in seeing. I don't give two shits about the Eternals. The Black Widow movie has been ruined for me. I mean, that movie honestly should have, come out in phase 2 or 3. Yep. Honestly, it should have come out in phase 2. I'm iffy on the Doctor Strange movie. I'm even more iffy on it, hearing about the whole thing with him being teamed up with Scarlet Witch, and I have no interest in the female Thor movie. I might see it just to see how much of a fucking train wreck it is, but I'm not going to see it opening night.
And Blade, I want to like it. I do. It's going to be woke as hell.
Yeah,
they got the perfect actor for it, but and no, there's none of the TV shows, like zero. What if the interest in that got killed for me because they're going to do
Haley Atwell's Captain
America. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm not interested in anything from Disney Plus at all. I mean, I'll get it to cover it, but an Obi-Wan prequel, considering what we've gotten from Disney. If I was not running the channel, I would not get Disney Plus. I wouldn't. I don't like Disney's back catalog. I've said this before. I'm not a fan. I don't like animated movies with animals singing. I like them beating the crap out of each other. I'm a Warner Brothers cartoon kid, so I like them, smart assing and beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nicholas Horton for £2. Happy birthday, Gary. Well, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. Chief Cook for $1.99. Gary, the Mystic 107 on YouTube about Enterprise 8. Okay, I will check that out. I'm not really big on checking things out during the show. So I'll note it down and look at it afterwards. But I can't. I'll do it once in a while, but I'm not big on it. He puts YouTube. Thank you for the super chat, Chief. But that was a cool looking Enterprise. Sexual harassment panda for £5 from the overindulged from one overindulger to another. Don't spend this on a birthday bender. LOL. Happy birthday, my friend. Well, thank you, sexual harassment panda. Yes, from a recovering overindulger. That's one way to put it. Yes. Friend to Bill. Where's my little book?
Sexual harassment Panda.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got my 12 steps and 12 tradition book right here. Always by my side. Jamie Davies for $5. Happy birthday, Gary. Also happens to be my 1-year anniversary of subscribing to your channel. Wow, cool.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Question. Which actor would you do which actor would do Snowflame justice? Oh. I think it's okay. It's Javier. I think I didn't know his last name. Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem would be a great Snowflame. He's married to Penelope Cruz. That is your Snowflame. You give him white hair, and that is freaking Snowflame, where cocaine is his god, and he is the instrument of his will. He was supposed to be in Bride of Frankenstein. God, they still have that on from the Monsters universe. They still have that on IMDb as announced. But he's going to be in Dune. So, yeah, that's Snowflame. Right?
Is it going to be woke Dune?
Probably. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just assume everything is these days. I'm surprised when it's not. So, like when Aquaman came out and it wasn't woke, I'm all, shit. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know, it probably wasn't good at all, but it didn't preach at me or anything. It just
that's the problem these days with movies that are subpar and mediocre. They're so much better than the woke ones that it's like, wow, this movie was crap, but I enjoyed it so much.
Yep. And God, I would, you know, it's made me rethink everything. Like Michael Bay films, I'm like, God, you know, they're not all that bad.
Yeah.
they're not compared to the shit we go compared to the Mummy. Dude, I don't know if did you see the Mummy?
No, I didn't, because it looked like ass. No,
ass beyond ass. It is.
I saw the trailer and I was like, this is so fucking stupid.
It is so bad. Ripe for a parody, though. Ripe for a parody. Thank you, Christy, and thank you to all the mods. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this thing up. It's been 2.5 hours or so. Sorry for starting a half hour late, guys. But we're back on schedule for Friday Night Tights. We're gonna be bringing on people with us. I think next week, once I get the rig set up and I can bring in more people on I'm like StreamYard. Hey, you guys are doing a great job. I'm not happy about the avatar, but it's free and you're like letting people stream and it's great, but like the quality of my picture is terrible. So I'm going to be using something else in the future. And I could bring more people on. And the plan is that I'm going to be like Friday night's going to, for one, in the future for the higher tiers on Patreon, patrons are going to start coming on. You get to pick a segment and debate me or talk about it or anything. You also get to suggest a video. So Friday night, we're going to start bringing patrons on, and I'm going to be bringing on guests. I want to bring on Jeremy more. You know,
you also need to bring on Odin more.
Yes, that's another.
Odin is awesome. There's
going to be lots of geeks and gamers people coming in on this show, and they're always welcome. By the way, you know, Josiah and we got to get Jesse on. I still need to get Jeff on. So we're going to start rotating some guests in here for Friday night. It's kind of late for some of the East Coast people, but I know most of those people stay up till 3 in the damn morning. So I see you live streaming out there till 3 in the morning, Jesse Milestone. So we're gonna so we're gonna start rotating guests, and it's gonna be fun. And you know, this is gonna still be kind of the fun focused show. I know it wasn't probably tonight, but you know, I definitely want to get it more into what I'm into and what I used to be into. I don't know. But yeah. So next Friday, 7:00, Comics Division will be here. Tell us about your channel, Comics.
I make YouTube videos. Occasionally. Usually it's once or twice a week in case I take a break or something like that. Let's see. I have a series of videos in mind, specifically talking about like the whole thing with entertainment is female, because you know, we talked about
love that? God, there was a whole panel called that at Comic-Con.
Entertainment is female, yeah. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, specifically about with the MCU and the stuff that's been going on over at ABC with that Emergence TV series and whatnot. And then It was pretty funny because I did this video talking about the movie The Hunt that got canceled, and I was talking about how I hate Blumhouse movies because I think they basically have just made a bunch of shitty horror films, and I kind of want to talk about why I think modern horror films are shitty, because I am a horror film snob, and yeah, so I want to talk about
Kind
that
of
a
are,
little
but
more.
in a good way, in a
Yeah.
really good way. No, that's interesting because like that's the one genre I'm not really into, and I'd love to hear your take on it because I'd respect your opinion on it because I know dick about it. Like Tom is, we got to get you two kids together. Then Tom is a horror. Tom from Midnight's Edge is a big horror film fan too, and sometimes I think he wants people to talk to about it, and he has a hard time finding them. So we should get you two kids together. So here's Comics Division's channel. Give him a sub. He'll make a video. He'll surprise you once a year. Bring out.
Oh, wait a second. I got some interesting stuff actually coming up. I've been working with comic book black belt. He's been doing some avatars for me, which will be showing up in my next video. So there's a whole rebranding of my channel that'll be coming up very, very soon.
Good.
Yeah.
That is exciting. So I have a Patreon, which I just fixed the tiers on. By the way, they're unusually priced because I can't price them the same as other ones that are retired. So there's 2 tiers that are old and retired on there now, and they've been sold out for quite some time. But the new tiers are based on, you get commentaries on Doctor Who, and starting next week, you're going to get a daily live stream in the morning. And some other stuff that's going to be pretty fun. And again, on the higher tiers, you guys can join the show. A couple of you have reached out to me wanting, especially Svi Lebetkin. You do not need to sponsor me, my friend. You just tell me what comic book you're doing and I will plug it. You have supported the channel for a long time now, and thank you for the offer. But like seriously, dude, like just tell me what comic you want me to pump. Also, before I go, Mike S. Miller is a friend of mine, and he's got Lone Star Comic .com. Here, I wanted to show that. I promised him I'd show off this website. So he created Lone Star. He used to do art for Game of Thrones and stuff. Oh, why does it go to Indiegogo? Damn it.
Yeah, Mike S. Miller. He was a regular over at Alamo City Comic Con.
Yep.
I don't know if he's gonna be coming this year because there's like nothing on their website. So I have no idea if the new shit is going to be happening this year.
Yeah, I don't know. But Mike and I need to do a live stream. I met Mike at Comic-Con. He's a nice guy, and his kid just had a campaign. And well, here's one of the books he did crossed over, and I just want to give him some love. Mike's a good guy. Great artist, by the way. And he's worked on, the Game of Thrones books and Dunk and Egg books. He gave me some art, which was bitching. So yeah. So if people want me to plug a comic or something like that, I'll try. I've got to read it. Let me know. Now, I'm not against sponsorships. As a matter of fact, I'm in talks with somebody right now to possibly do one. But the only requirement is like, you got to pay me, no clicky weird stuff. And I'm going to say whatever I want and in that video, and I will choose the video it's in. And that's it. And that's generally why I don't get them very much, because I'm pretty picky about that shit. But
you should be, man. You should be.
But there's exciting things happening. It's really going to be crazy towards the end of the year. But my next live stream will be probably tomorrow night on Nerdrotic Live. I'm going to be covering some alien stuff, going to be doing some UFO stuff. So join me then. That's late at night, though, because it's date night. So it'll be after date night. And then Sunday morning, I'll be doing another birthday live stream at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. And then, of course, the Inquisition on Doomcock's channel at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So I'll be doing 2 live streams on Sunday. Eric K says, happy birthday. Will not make it to San Jose. Busy weekend. Hope you have a great time, though. See you in Santa Cruz for coffee. That we can do. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to make Silicon Valley tomorrow. Tomorrow's the only day I was planning on going. I am so behind. I probably shouldn't go. I wanted to go see the Terminator panel, but especially when I got passes. But dude, yeah, that's good. That's an all day thing, and I've got way too much work to do. So, Phantom Menace is why I stay up till 3 p.m. Love you, Megajet. 3 p.m. You mean 3 a.m. Megajet? Or maybe 3 p.m. Maybe your schedule's crazy like mine. And thank you, Mega Jetty. And Jason Smoot for $2. Yes, sir. Bring others. Yes, we will bring more people on for sure. I love bringing guests on. Chris Persia for Canadian $5. Have a cup of coffee from Pete's tomorrow on me. I will. God, I take one right now, and I don't care how late it is. Thank you for the Canadian $5, my friend. Chris Persia, you are brilliant, by the way, and a very loyal moderator and friend and patron. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for the support. Fat Gandalf, one of my favorite names, for $14.99. By the way, there's a Lord of the Rings tier. That's the highest tier. It's one tier to rule them all.
That's awesome.
I call them one tier to rule them all. And I'm gonna be getting like into Lord of the Rings lore, and we are just gonna geek out about Lord of the Rings on the Patreon channel because I love doing it. And also you get access to the audio theater. So you'll have access to my website. You will have access to my audio book drama collection, which is extensive.
Damn.
I have a bunch of Big Finish, a bunch of BBC for radio dramas, a bunch of old time radio dramas. I'm really into them. And I'm going to share them with you as a patron. So Loquacious Primate for $5. Oh, wait, I forgot to say, welcome to 50, Gary. Only 61 more till you're 111th. Yes, I'm 11T1 today. Hopefully, by then, either the social justice nonsense will be over, or we'll all have to, or we will all occupy some thought concentration camp at the last, as the last of the nonconformists. Yep, we'll be in the re-education camp, Fat Gandalf. Comics. Yes. Thank you.
I don't think we'll be in the re-education camps as much as we'll be hanging from the rafters as a warning to others, probably.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yes. Hey, Gary, happy birthday. Just got paid, and now you have, and so have you. Well, Loquacious Primate, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Talons of Wayne Chang for 10 pounds. Happy birthday, Gary. It's 6 a.m. in the UK, so just caught the end of the live stream. Off to see Tarantino movie today. Oh, tell me what you think. Have you seen it yet? I haven't, but every friend who has seen it says they liked it. All the best, mate. Love your channel and the content. Well, the best back at you, and there will be that's why I'm doing the Sunday morning live stream. It's for the UK subs. So it'll be Sunday morning here. It'll be in the afternoon for you guys, and I'm doing it for you. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the super chats. If for some reason I'm checking, if I missed one, I'll make up for it on Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. here on this channel. If you're into the UFO stuff, 10:30 p.m. tomorrow night Pacific time, we're going to talk about Contact and Ancient Aliens. Thank you again for joining me, Comics Division. I really appreciate it.
Always, dude. Always.
Don't forget to subscribe to this guy. He's cool. And everybody have a great night. See you in the next video. And remember, not all who wander are lost.